everyone, and welcome back to the Longplay Club. This is part 5, the finale of Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots. I'm your host, Christian Buckley, codename Panther, joined, as always, by Kevin Diaz, codename Scorpion.
Greetings. How we doing, gentlemen? We are at not the pinnacle, but we're like somewhere in like a camping ground below that, you know. Like I think we're still in the upper echelon. But perhaps there was a landslide or a snow slide, you know, some sort of like but not like a big avalanche, like a light little avalanche, you know. But we here, we all made it. Shout out to that.
We are, and this we includes Omar Nakvi, codename Jaguar.
Hey, this podcast wasn't easy, you know? It's not easy joining an established friend group and coming in and being the dissenter of one title that's well liked. And I'm expecting apologies this week, maybe some gifts. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But thank you for having me as always.
Of course. I noticed you're in Alaska. Is there an intent
there? I just thought, you know, shout outs to Metal Gear Solid 1 again.
Big ups.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Rounding out the Long Play Club, Jack Martin, codename Pigeon.
Howdy. A very hearty and final to you.
Oh, okay, so we're moving on from Pigeon.
Maybe.
Okay.
I teased before the show, maybe I evolved like a Pokemon.
Yeah.
We'll see at the end of this. After this 4-hour podcast, we'll find out.
Yes. Well, why don't we just dive straight into it, because we're continuing Metal Gear Solid 4. As of last week, we saw Raiden stop a boat, Snake passed out, and now we're just in a briefing room for the mission briefing on the Missouri, this ship that's out of date, pre-SOPs. Mei Ling is like Velma without her glasses in this scene. Like, she's just stumbling around for no goddamn reason. She's doesn't know how to use a little Scholastic Book Fair finger pointer thing. Like, what's going on with this?
Have you seen this TikTok where this gamer girl goes, "Oh no, I dropped my gamer headset.
Yes.
I hope no one clasps my cheeks when I go to pick it up." You've seen this?
I've seen that, yeah.
Okay, did you think okay. Okay. Well, did you think of that during the scene, Christian? No?
I think it's absolutely the groundwork for that TikTok. You know?
Okay. All right. It's an anime trope. I hate it. Like,
I was thinking like substitute teacher vibes, you know. I feel like she was like the substitute teacher, didn't know where, you know, the main teacher keeps all the papers and all that, you know. Didn't know all the names in the class, you know. So that's kind of the vibe I got, but I still appreciated Mei Ling's presence, you know, even though she was doing her thing, you know. Yeah.
Yes, but did this need to be Mei Ling? Like, this is not the same person for Metal Gear Solid. It's just like Naomi. It could have been somebody else. Like,
no, but it is Christian because she gives the quote. Don't you get it?
Yeah.
It's Mei Ling.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, like,
No.
it just seems weird that, like, I don't know.
It's every woman in this game, like, gets destroyed.
Not even that, too. It's just, like, also, you were gonna have like an Asian woman be in charge of this boat, and then you make a character who's completely different from Mei Ling, and you just call her Mei Ling again. Like, it's just weird. Make a new character, or like keep it authentic. Like Naomi, I think, accent aside, motivations and role seems somewhat consistent with one. Like, she's traitorous, you know, you don't know her true intentions, and then Mei Ling, it's like what you said, Omar, she just throws out a quote, so it's like, no, see, it's still me. Like, it's still this. It's just so different. I don't know why they included her here. Like, it feels irrelevant.
Like, where, like, a part of me is like, I like the fact that it was Mei Ling because we have the majority of MGS1's cast all together doing this one more time against Liquid. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's that semblance, right? But then at the same time, it's like, I'm not necessarily sure, like, why she took the helm necessarily, because, like, she just popped up last act, right? So it's like, I would love to see Otacon do that. Like not even talking from like some stupid perspective of like, oh, like a man should be calling the shots. Like not even that, but I feel like Otacon has I think maybe like a bigger grasp of the situation.
Yeah.
I don't know if Mei Ling fully understands the situation at this point. Maybe she got briefed. Maybe she got a pre-brief. I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's where I'm at. Yeah, like
I-
I felt it was kind of weird that like she was calling the shots not necessarily. You know.
Plus, like, it would show good character growth for Otacon, right? Of, like, he's this super antisocial otaku convention fan from the first game, and now he's gone through all these things, all these self-imposed heartbreaks, and now he could just be, you know, full confidence, leading a room, being like, this is do or die. We get a Star Wars joke, Jack. Did you expect to hear a Death Star reference here?
No, but here we are, confirming my theories. But yeah, like what you guys say, Mei Ling's appearance is just unnecessary. It could have been just a random character, but and we'll get into this more later. But I feel like this game is trying to be the big Metal Gear Solid culmination and like weaving in all these storylines and stuff, but with people from the first game with like Meryl and Mei Ling, we only saw them in that one game.
Mm-hmm.
So it feels like we're getting like the third sequel for their characters and a lot of character progression for a lot of characters. Mei Ling, specifically for this instance, is incredibly rushed. She was a comms person who helped you save your game in the first game, and now she's like leading a battleship, which like I can believe, sure, fine, but it feels like we got rushed to that point, and in a way I feel like that's emblematic of a lot of stuff in this game.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And I feel like if you're gonna go that direction, you might as well just go all out, and I don't feel like they kind of did. Like, where the hell's Nastasha?
Yeah,
Nastasha was a weapons expert. It would make more sense if she was here. Like, why not? Mei Ling, she can be support too, but where's Nastasha? You know, like, what's up? I don't get it. But
You want to talk about a character who went from being your game save to going up the ranks? I just wanted to mention paramedic, but we don't need to mention that right now.
Yeah, paramedics.
Yeah.
Any of the MGS3 characters that turned out to be the world's most dangerous people, awful. I think Zero's the biggest offender. I hate it.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Mm-hmm. So we get our final objective here, our final mission briefing. Liquid wants to nuke JD, which is the central core of all the AIs. It's in space as a satellite disguised as space debris.
I wish we went to space.
Yeah, man, that would have been cool. But, like, no, we don't. And then we get all this information revealed because Naomi gave us a USB. That was the USB. That's how we know what's up with Outer Haven. That's how we can plan our infiltration. And then we get into the act. Old Sun. Act 5. Kevin, thoughts seeing Old Sun? Is it just like, or is there any structure, any through line to the act names at all, or is it just random stuff?
Oh, I have it. Oh, Kev, thank God I have it all laid out here. So, Solid Sun, Liquid Sun, Third Sun, Twin Suns, and then Old Suns. I mean, Solid Snake, Liquid Snake, Third Sun, which is Solidus, Twin Suns, which we're going back to MGS1, Twin Snakes type thing, and then Old Sun, like Old Snake.
Yeah.
Being the hero, right? Okay.
I think that's it. I really think that's it.
Damn. See, like that. Like was what it was looking like. I wish it was. No, I mean, like, I don't know. Fuck it. It's all right. It's cool. like yeah, it is what it is. I do like this Metal Gear structure. I do think it. I do like the act structure, as opposed to previous Metal Gear Solids. Like, now that we're done with the game, I actually appreciated the acts a lot more than the way it was structured. You know, back in previous games. You know what I'm saying?
It was easier to plan the series around it for sure.
Absolutely.
Not only that, yeah, but like I just feel like you were able to get like a sense of like, okay, like this act is about this, right? And there's like a pseudo conclusion to that, you know, and then we get a breather, and then we go back in it again. Like, it just felt like it was easier to kind of digest that way. At least personally, like how kind of I felt, where like if there's like a, you know, like a half an hour, you know, exposition dump in a codec, right? That could lose. But granted, it's like, okay, the mission briefings are kind of that as well. right? So it's like, what's really that different? You know, I don't know. I just feel like it was a nice kind of like reset in a way to get yourself prepped for the next thing. Personally, I don't know.
Yeah.
It
I
worked.
agree. It's very episodic, almost like a Telltale game, in a lot of ways. And I feel like it each act like follows the same structure, from like doing the mission briefing, then like going into gameplay, mix of cutscenes, stuff like that. Which could seem repetitive, but I feel like it really helps with the game's pacing because you like know what to expect, and you can go into a game, play through an act, shut off the game, and then come back and play the second act. And I feel like that's probably the best way to do it, is to line up your playthrough with the act itself. Because I found like only like once or twice I stopped in the middle of an act, and that kind of messed me up a little bit during this series. But even for our podcast, playing through act by act, I think is the best way to experience this game. And I think the pacing definitely helps with this game in its structure.
Omar, do you think having this structure, retroactively put on the previous games would have helped them or hurt them more? Because like 1 and 2 feel like they tell a pretty linear story, but like 3 would be more open-ended. Do you feel like this act structure could have been useful somewhere else?
Well, I think Metal Gear Solid 2 kind of has it, right? Or like it's in 2 parts.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea, I think Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2 are really good about the fact that they are one location and you're going to have a fucked up day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I think if you jammed in, like divided those into 5 parts and then like had these mission briefings and stuff like that, it's not that, it just doesn't make sense. I think it makes sense for this one, but not for the previous ones.
Sure.
I like to hear.
Yeah, I agree. I think it felt like it was just a big TV show, like a miniseries with big chunky episodes. So I appreciated that because of like experiencing it that way and the way they present it. I think it just works like this, and I'm curious to see how this affects the future of the series as we continue.
I've always had a theory about the acts in this game being based off of Kojima's previous games.
Really?
Yeah, I think right. Let's say Act 1 is like the Metal Gear Solid 4 act, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's this game, and then 2 is Metal Gear Solid 3, right? You're doing all that jungle stuff.
Mm-hmm.
3, let's say that's Snatcher because you're a detective. All right, that one's a bit of a stretch, but I'm just gonna go with it. 4, Metal Gear Solid 1, come on, easy.
Mm-hmm.
Act 5, you're back into Arsenal gear, kind of. That's 2.
All right.
No.
I know. I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
There's definitely
All right, cool.
There's definitely some support for that. I think looking into it, especially with 1 being just so on the nose about it, and even Act 2. Act 2 is like it like fully calls a Snake Eater a couple times to the introduction of that act. So I think you're on something.
Oh yeah.
Omar, it's like we're here and you're just here. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. I'm at the top.
Just...
It's lonely. I'm sorry.
Well, you know who else is lonely? Solid Snake, because he just gets whipped onto that boat. Everybody falls.
You're right.
This old man's okay in his little sneaking suit, but Meryl twists her ankle and Johnny just like hits the side and dumps into the ocean. Like
Yeah.
I was like, we can't think of a better way to get on this boat.
Uh-huh.
Like really, like we're gonna catapult ourselves. Like there's no other way, really.
Kevin, they've been doing it since the Middle Ages. It's the tried and true method of getting people from A to B.
Not even like a full sprint and like a little, tuck and roll type beat. No, okay,
No,
all right.
Just gravity,
Okay. Like,
up and down. That's all.
Gravity,
you need.
man. Gravity, man.
I gotta say though, like before we even like launch on the catapults, I love the in between after the mission briefing up to the catapults. It feels like obviously they're preparing for battle. Maybe Omar will side with me on this one. It feels very much like the Lord of the Rings, like before a battle, where like characters are talking and be like, "Well, we're probably gonna die tomorrow." There's some like good back and forth with Drebin and the monkey and the cigarette or whatever. Mm-hmm. Just the vibe of that I really liked. So I thought that
I have a very serious question. What was that Drebin lighting the manifesting fire like?
Nanomachines.
Is that? God damn it!
That's exactly right.
I was like, flame on, like what, like bro.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh man. Oh well.
it probably is like even that. It's like nanomachines. I remember just being such a
Yeah, it's
meme because it was just like that's the excuse for everything in the series
Nanomachines.
retroactively. But like, I think maybe like Kojima probably forgot that everybody has nanomachines, and he's like, wouldn't it be cool if he just like did with his fingers? Like he's like a magician, and then it goes away. Like,
Well,
sure that was
really
cool.
like you could just say nanomachines like increase the friction from his fingers, and then he just sparks fire.
Lots of ignition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Easy answer, guys.
'Cause-
Easy answer.
Because nanomachines also are a way to explain another character later on that it's like, why? Why can't we just have vampires and really cool other characters that, are, psycho-esque type? Like, why?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I get it, but, like, I wish I didn't know. It's the midichlorians of the Metal Gear Solid universe. I swear. It is.
Yeah.
It really is.
I googled how does Drebin light the cigarette into.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a game facts thread that shows up titled "How does Drebin do that lighter trick with his fingers?" The opening post asks, "Does anyone know how to do that? I would kill to be able to show that off in front of people. Like, hey, you need a light? Bam!" The first reply is Magic School.
Okay.
The second reply is Drebin is the son of Chris Angel.
Solid. Mind freak. Solid.
And then finally, post number 7 agrees with us, nanomachines.
Nice. Okay. When was this thread from? When was the
10 years ago.
Okay.
I was gonna say it sounds like 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, but Jack, I agree with you.
Angel.
I like the mood here. It very much stuck out to me of like this is very much teeing up. This is the end. Lots of like finality talk here, and that type of conversation happens a lot throughout this entire act. And we can talk about it after the fact, but I can't help but think that this was just a cry for help. But
I also think it's
maybe, yeah.
Okay. No.
Sorry,
Sorry, Jack. You were talking.
I also think it's really funny watching Johnny's or Akibo's character progression from being like this buffoon in Act 1 and then coming out at the end of Act 3 and being like, oh, he's handsome and kind of a badass, and now in Act 5 being like, oh, he's a piece of shit and just tries to grab women at any chance he gets. It's like, all right, this is one of the worst characters in anything I've ever seen. So that's interesting.
So many things like why? Like why? Like why? Why is this character doing this? Like it's just so weird, man. It's just so weird.
So
it's bad.
After we're catapulted, we have to do basically the only major chunk of gameplay this week, which is navigating the deck of Outer Haven. There's a bunch of frogs everywhere. There's some gecko that spawn. This was kind of hard until it became piss easy for me. So I don't know how you guys feel about this, but it took me like 3 attempts. The third one, it was like barely a problem.
Yeah.
How'd you do it, if I may ask? Were you sneaking? Sorry, Kevin.
No.
You do. Like, how did it become easy for you? Were you trying to stealth it, or?
So, the first, like, 2 times, I think, I tried stealthing it fully, and I got, like, maybe halfway through, and then some frogs popped up. They, like, respawned or something, like, they call in more. The second time, I tried just using the railgun on everything. That did not really work either, because I was just swarmed at the end. And then the third time, I stealthed again, like, halfway through. I was caught, and then I whipped out. I was a combination. I just used the railgun after I got caught, like, halfway there, and then it was fine. Nothing happened. Like, there were 2 geckos I took down with a full charge of the railgun, and then I just smashed the door, and then I hid inside until the timer was gone.
Nice. I had real struggle trying to rush the door like that because the prompt kept fucking me up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Like, did anybody get through it full stealthy? Like, did it all go all out combat? Like, what happened for you guys, Jack? You're shaking your head. What happened?
Yeah. I actually really don't like this section. For most of the game, like, there are stealthy elements, but this game is decidedly more of an action game than previous Metal Gear games, and this is very evident with this particular action set piece, where immediately I was like, all right, putting on my full camo, trying to sneak through this, and instantly was like spotted and tried to go back into stealth, but that didn't work. And then I pulled the old Kevin Diaz special. I just hit him with that AK. Pulled out my LMG. I confirmed Kevin's claim that Snake yells when he shoots that LMG, and he certainly does. Because I was laying down the law with that thing. Yeah, not fun, in my opinion. It's mostly just like I'm full panic mode right now, just trying to shoot everything and just make it through alive. So, not my favorite.
Yeah.
Did you guys climb that ladder and stuff?
Yeah.
On here? Were you surprised at like the depth of which like there's platforming controls in this game?
Yeah.
Or yeah, because like there was like you could hang and then go to the right, and then Snake will actually like if you drop off a upper level into a second one, you can grab that while you're falling.
Yeah.
Like where was that ever?
Yeah, like
Interesting.
seeing that, like it was kind of stiff, right? Like it wasn't as great as I wanted it to be, because I got the first time I went sneaking, it worked for me fine. The second time, I hit at the exact same time and he just didn't grab, so it kind of fucked me up. But like, I do. It is sad because it's not the last Metal Gear game, but it sets it up to be sort of that like finality, right? And the fact that the really last major chunk of gameplay when you're infiltrating somewhere, you can't really do it stealthily, was a big bummer for me. Like, Omar, I'm assuming you ended up going guns blazing here too, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
how's
Except
that?
my gun was the P90. I always, for some reason, again, when I was playing this a while ago, my cousin was like by my side, and he was a bit older. He's like 5 years older than me, so he knew about guns and stuff, and he was really excited when I picked up the P90. So, kind of always associated this game with that. But yeah, I struggled. I think I probably died a couple times. Just P90 the thing, and then I railgunned the Gecko. I think I cleared the entire room, right? Like, I killed everyone before I was able to mash and get in there. But yeah, and that's it.
Yeah.
I did try to stealth it, didn't work out.
Unfortunate, but we have our final B&B. Screaming Mantis. Kevin.
Yes, sir.
Screaming Mantis pops up, similar to what Omar was talking about episode 1 of this game. The immediate obvious connection to Foxhound, more so than any other in the group, right? Outside of the names, because here Snake, as like a character in game, is being like, this is impossible, right? Like, he's making you think that it's Psycho Mantis.
Yeah.
How did that hit for you? Like, in the framing of setting up this B&B, it's like it seems like there's an obvious connection to Psycho Mantis because Snake is saying so.
Yeah, like at that particular time, I was like, okay, I guess Psycho Mantis possessed this woman, you know what I'm saying? And like, right, like through the void of death, right? Which I was thinking, okay, maybe that checks out because, again, at that time, it was still fact in my head that, yeah, Liquid Soul via the arm took over Ocelot's body. And then also that's ruined as well at the end of the game. Like that whole concept is also in the trash can now. So at that point, I was like, okay, all right, I guess that could make sense. And like, I guess that's pretty cool, you know? But still like I don't know.
Because like, also in MGS1, Psycho Mantis is teed up as like an actual like ESP person. It's just through torture, experimentation, whatever, nanomachines, it was amplified. Like,
right,
he did have some power that was a bit abnormal. It was just boosted. So like, I think you could reasonably think like, oh, maybe it is Psycho Mantis, which because again, I forgot a lot of this act, but playing this, I was like, oh, that feels like a weird betrayal, considering like in his final moments, Psycho Mantis was like, I can help people, and then he died. Right? Like, in the afterlife, is he a vengeful dude? Is like, you know what?
He's like, nah, never mind.
Never mind.
Yeah.
It's like going back on his arc, right? I feel like they do that to multiple characters in this game.
Yeah, but
which is
thankfully here, it's just psychotherapy through some sort of Drebin explanation after the fight. But let's talk about the fight, because I think this is the worst fight out of all the B&Bs personally.
Did you do the controller thing immediately?
Yes.
Okay, I
Me
did too.
too.
All right, cool.
Kevin, did you switch your controller input?
So I was trying to do the pad and hit him with the AK.
Yeah.
Wasn't working, right? I was like, okay, I see these dolls. I'm like looking at what I'm able to shoot at.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? There's no avail here yet. Let me call the codec. I think it was I call Otacon. He doesn't give me a lot of. Oh, Otacon just says, hey, like, you know, watch out for her, control whatever. Like, don't get controlled. And then I called Rose, but then Colonel was talking instead of Rose, which I thought was kind of weird. But well, they were both talking, yeah. But like, Colonel was like, "Oh shit, hey, you could just switch your controller out of that," and then like they make a joke of like, "Oh no, like they're on the PS3. There's no controller input, whatever." And so that happened, and yeah, I don't know, like I didn't necessarily hate it. I thought it was pretty cool, like, you know, shooting the doll and then getting the doll and then using that against her. Like, I thought that was pretty cool. Like, in theory, was it like the most engaging gameplay? Not really, you know?
Sure.
But I'm trying to think of which one. Like, and I at least like appreciated the like set piece that we were in the actual setting. I thought that was
Lecture hall.
pretty cool. Yeah. Like, that was neat setting overall. But I think I would still put the like Vulcan Raven fight as like the worse than this one, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe
So,
I don't know.
Jack, can you walk us through what happens if you do switch your controller port?
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Please.
You hold down the old PlayStation button. You go to your settings.
True.
Assign to controller number 2. Eager and giddy to make this thing work again. And then you go back in the game. You can't move because this game's like, no, we don't. That's not how you do it. You just gotta shoot the doll. That's what you do. And I called Otacon, and he was like, yeah, just shoot the puppet. Shoot the puppets. So I shot the puppets, and that's pretty much what you gotta do.
You also get berated by Otacon. I don't know if that happened to you, if you switched it fast enough, but
Really?
yeah, Omar, you got that too?
What was he like? He's like, Snake, you can't. You didn't think that was actually going to work, did you? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did the thing, I couldn't move, and then immediately I get the codec call, and it goes up on the screen, and he's like, Snake, you fool! Like you thought you could do this again? You thought it could work before, like when you fought Psycho Mantis, and he was like, if you have your controller port set to anything besides 1, you can't move. And then Snake's like, whose dumb idea was that? And then Otacon's like, I don't know, but switch it back or something like that. It was just really weird.
Let's be real. Kojima insulting us or picking up on that reference is offensive. He gave it to us like that.
Yeah.
Very true.
Like,
you're not wrong.
He made the rules.
he
I don't know what
did.
to tell you.
I think that's kind of funny. I didn't get that, but
Yeah,
that's
it
funny.
is funny. It's hilarious.
It's funny. I was
Overall, it's
laughing.
funny. Yeah, it's funny. It's
Yeah.
funny.
I was definitely laughing, but it's like, you know, you literally bring up Hideo 2 again as the thing, like in this fight, right? So it's like, what else are we supposed to think?
Dude, if he had figured out that, like, remember we were talking about last week when it switched to Metal Gear Solid 1 and the resolution changed?
Yeah.
If he knew had that happened and he could do it again here, he should have done that, because I thought that would be way cooler. Because on my TV, I have a calibrated set, and the black levels for Hideo 2 are raised, so I can tell that it's not on my TV itself.
Oh,
So, didn't work on me.
that's
I was too smart. I know.
Yeah.
Damn,
It's another MGS4 boss fight that I just can't go to bat for, and I can't defend because it's really not good. And Christian, you were like, this is my least favorite one, and I was like, I don't know if it's my least favorite one. And then I thought about all of them, like, they're kind of all my least favorite ones, really, because there's nothing to them. This one is just I called Otacon, he's like, shoot the puppet and then pick up the puppet, and that's all you do. There's very little, and then you have to pad out the gameplay. You have the frogs trying to destroy you, and that's really all you have to do. Maybe you have to manage Meryl a little bit, but I just shot her with a trank gun to get her out of town safely, and that was pretty much it. It's really unfortunate. They really fumbled the ball with boss fights in this game, in my opinion.
Because I think at the very least, some of the other ones where they are also kind of whatever, I think they make up for with at least an interesting gimmick, right? Like, the Octo one, I still think is really cool despite being able to break it with night vision.
Totally.
The setting of the Raven one, I think makes up for it. I think it's real cool to be in a clock tower, looking over that city, and I was sniping the whole time, so that was fun. I can't even think of the others right now.
The Crying Wolf?
Crying Wolf.
Yeah, Crying
that
Wolf.
was a huge letdown. Crying Wolf, and then, again, shows you how memorable they are. The other one, I don't remember what she was, but like
It's just the 4, right?
Is it?
No, there's 5.
Well,
It's 4. It's 4. It's Screaming Mantis, Crying Wolf, Raven, and Laughing Octopus. Was it Raging Raven? I can't remember.
Yeah, Raging. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's only Act 2 through 5, I believe.
Right.
Act 1 is just the introduction.
And boss fights as a whole, obviously the Rex Ray fight's cool, and then I still think, like, I wouldn't say it's the best one, but I do think Vamp's fight has like a layer to it that I appreciate over this, because this really, once the doll dropped and I picked it up, it was just like mash, it's dead. It's like, okay, sure.
Did you use the syringe here too?
I did.
I did.
Okay.
What? What did you use?
The syringe.
The syringe to allow me to like not have the strings and like
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Did you say like James Spader? There are no strings on me. I did a really bad James Spader. Sorry.
I didn't. I was thinking that though. It came to mind. So after this fight, we basically get our next. This kind of like triggers the ending, honestly, because Snake leaves and then Meryl stays behind to take out these frogs, and then
Wait. You're not talking about the Psycho Mantis part.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta talk about that.
Yeah, that whole thing.
Okay,
So then
sorry, yeah.
it's like
you go
no,
ahead, Kevin.
please don't go ahead. It's okay.
All right. I think you kill the Screaming Beauty, and then Psycho Mantis shows up. It says like Psycho Mantis from Metal Gear Solid 1998, and he's just Psycho Mantis, and he's like he tries to read your memories, and he's like, damn, no memory cards on the PS3.
Yeah.
And then I honestly like this next bit he does where he's like, now I will make a controller move, and set it on the ground, and it vibrates and moves, and he goes, yeah, vibration is back, because on the PS3, right, the 6-axis, there was a DualShock for like the first 2 years, which I thought that was great. It's stupid, it's dumb, but I laughed.
It's so funny that he was revived for that 1 second just to see the hardware iterations. Since PlayStation 1, he's like, come a long way, man. Peace.
Yeah, it was
exactly what it is.
Did you guys mash X for that? Did you see like it just showed the PS1 and like it zoomed in on the memory card slot?
Yeah.
There are some weird mash X's in this particular act. We'll get to one very, very soon that is just like, oh, I guess they're doing that.
So like, I'm with you, Omar. Like I thought it was funny to a degree. I thought the memory card thing was stupid, but the vibrations back I liked, because it was like, oh yeah, that was his shtick, and they took it.
It was the big deal, man.
Yeah, and now it's back. Like I thought that was neat. But Kevin, as somebody who hates Psycho Mantis, what did you think of this appearance?
Bitch, that's my bio now. I hate Psycho Mantis.
Yeah.
I wish that we didn't have things like the disc changing joke, because I feel like, but then it's like, no, like I really want that that disc changing joke too, because like I think that was pretty funny, know, but like just the second time doing a similar joke like that, like doesn't really hit that hard for me, like not necessarily, but I still thought it was cool, but like I just kept thinking about the essence of like, wait, so like, why are you here? Like, is it just for like the player? Like, is it just like reaching over the third wall or whatever that phrase is, whatever, like breaking the fourth wall or whatever? Like, is it just for the player? Is there a reason why, that's what I kept thinking about. Maybe I took it way too seriously than what it had to be, but like I still liked the overall joke, but I just can't help but think like, how, why? Same with the Drebin and lighter flick thing. It's like, yeah, but
I'm very much with you, honestly. Like, it's just, I think I just let myself have it because
yeah.
just at the time. Because you remember, like, I remember rumors about like the reason the PS3 didn't have dual shock or vibration was like, yeah, some elderly lady like died playing PS2, and there was a whole huge lawsuit. But I don't know if that was actually real or not. But I don't know. It was
like a schoolyard.
I think it totally is.
That was spun.
Is what I believed.
Yeah, that's like the Pokemon town that like made kids do things to themselves.
Dude, it's real. It happens.
Yeah.
Lavender Town.
Yeah.
Or was it Lavender Town?
It was Lavender Town.
Did you guys talk about that on your Pokemon podcast?
We did.
Hell yeah, we did.
Nice, awesome.
I don't even know anything about that. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But
like when that lady drank too much water trying to get a Wii.
I have no idea what that is.
What? Really?
What?
No.
This one's actually real.
The lady that spilled the hot chocolate, not the hot chocolate, the coffee from McDonald's. Sorry, go ahead.
What's that one?
I don't know what
I'll tell this shortly, but I think like the Wii when it came out, people really wanted one, and there was a competition in some town where like, okay, whoever can drink the most water can get a Wii, and she drank too much water and died.
Is it a pee joke? Is that what it is?
That's
I got a
horrible.
Wii.
Dude, I thought it might be a pee joke, but I don't know if
That's
it is.
horrible.
People made pee jokes about the Wii for sure.
All right.
Sorry.
Geniuses.
But
Yeah.
That's
Not the
awful.
Wii.
Why
Yeah,
would
it's a
someone-
bad
that's
story.
fucked up. That's
I'm
fucked up.
sorry.
No, that's. I'm glad we know that now.
What town?
Peeville, I don't know.
I bet it was in like Iowa.
Iowa?
I was gonna say it's in the Midwest, but I didn't want to offend any Midwest listeners. But you opened the floodgates, so there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
So this whole
apologies.
time, I was really just thinking about how much better the Psycho Mantis fight was in Metal Gear Solid 1. And I feel like a lot of the last 2 weeks with this game, I'm just thinking about how good Metal Gear Solid 1 actually is, which I don't think was the intent here, but it's what I've been thinking a lot. So we get another Drebin drop. Her village got burned like all the others. She was hunted into... She stumbled into a corpse-filled basement that was beneath a torture room and eventually ate the corpses and was possessed by Psycho Mantis, but not actually. And then later was given nanomachines to make her indoctrinated with the personality of Psycho Mantis, so it's like he overtook her soul, but it wasn't actually him. So again, I have no idea what the fuck Snake was seeing, but yeah, I think the only reason this exists is so they can justify something they do later and be like, we introduced the concept already, like you can't question it, it's already in here.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to.
They could have done it either way because it still doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
I'm actually confused. Could you lightly tell me what that is before we move on? Okay.
Yeah, like explain the whole...
The soul
Look at
being
us
taken
lot
over
thing,
by
yeah.
another person,
Yeah.
making you
That
believe
makes
it.
sense.
So,
I would be more than fine just continuing the conversation after the backstory from this
me too.
beast. Because who cares? It's like the same shit each week, and it's like, okay, we don't care about this.
This one was like especially bad because I really got the impression like, okay, at this point, you're just fucking with me. Like this is the most just like out there, just not at all making any sense like backstory for this character, and like I think at this point it was just simply like this is 100% just a joke. Like we're just giving you this just to give you it, Like that's how I felt about it. Yeah, it was, yeah. Shout out to Drebin, but he has bad stories.
Yeah, it's just something. But after this, Snake leaves, right? Johnny was shot. He gets back up again. Him and Meryl. I'm gonna draw a comparison to a reference, and I hope it is not lost on all of you. But does Kojima just really like Pirates of the Caribbean 3?
I tell
Oh,
you.
I'm big sorry. I'm big
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm also
What's the
sorry,
title of
Christian.
that one?
World's End?
Who's the villain? Is it the squid guy?
Yes, it is Davy Jones, but
Wait, guy. Wait, we brought it yesterday on
we
Gamescast.
did. We
Oh
talked
yeah,
about Pirates of the
Davy
Caribbean
Jones is
yesterday.
CGI.
So
yeah.
Explain, Christian.
okay,
Explain.
when did this game come out?
2008.
2008. I think Pirates came out in 2007. So this is a ripoff. At the end, in the third act of At World's End, a very long movie, Orlando Bloom's character and Keira Knightley's character,
Legolas.
who have this relationship throughout the
Padme.
trilogy, they're on this like ghost pirate boat, sword fighting people, getting stabbed, fighting people. In the middle of it, he proposes because they're just fighting. It's like, we're gonna die. You want to marry me? And then they just keep killing people with swords, and they're going on like a back-to-back like engaged people trying to become married throughout this fight. Like, I think that movie came out in 2007, so Kojima just likes Pirates of the Caribbean.
I had the
that's a great
subconscious thought of like, I feel like I've seen something like this before.
Mhm.
Perhaps it is Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End, and it was just a very much like a suppressed, internal memory. But I thought it was from something else.
I'm
Maybe I'm
looking
wrong.
up when this
assumed-
movie came out.
I assumed it was Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but I've never seen that movie.
That's what I kind of thought too.
Okay.
Yeah. I kind of thought that, but I don't think I've seen that movie, so I don't
Yeah,
know if it
me
actually
neither.
happens. But it seems
2007.
like something that would. It seems like something that would happen in that movie, right, Omar?
Right, it has to be.
It seems like there's a scene like that. I haven't seen it, but maybe.
I believe it.
Yeah.
There we go.
And then this is where we get Jack, what you referenced earlier of Johnny being like, hey, so yeah, I'm a stalker, kind of. And I don't have nanomachines, though, so I'm special. Don't you love me?
Also, I was the dude from Metal Gear Solid 1 who shit his fucking pants. And it's like,
There were a lot of
Okay.
revelation. There was a lot here. We paused the game, and I really had to just take that in. I really had to just take a second and really just sit back, take a sip of water. He's that guy.
Yep.
oh yeah. Aren't you satisfied, Kevin?
Not particularly.
I think it's
how?
easily the worst Mash X
What?
to see the past
What the
in the game.
fuck?
It's the worst. It's the most
What?
uncalled for and
Bro.
unnecessary.
You know
I
like
can't
seeing
believe
his
that was him.
pixelated ass again.
I mean, that was funny, sure.
Okay.
But like the integration of like that's the character.
Oh,
I
sure.
just can't believe that was him. I just,
Okay.
man.
I think
Wow.
you said it earlier, Jack, on one of the earlier episodes. I think.
Yeah,
I thought you
I
said
guess
it.
Oh, maybe.
I think you
I-
said something
yeah,
like,
Jack.
this is the most important character in the franchise. I think you said.
Oh, I did say that once. Yeah.
Oh, you said that on the Metal Gear Solid 1 long play,
Yes.
and you were
Okay.
like, "Watch out for this character." And then Johnny showed up in Act 4 or in Act 1, and I completely forgot that he was. So I unintentionally spoiled this reveal, but because I thought like that was like the fan confirmation, like Kojima went back and like answered like questions in interviews, and people were like, "Was Johnny the dude who shit his pants on Metal Gear Solid 1?" And he was like, "Yes, that was him. That was the dude." I didn't realize we had a whole Mash X to see Johnny shit his pants in Metal Gear Solid 1. That's something. That is
Yeah,
really
wow.
something.
Wow.
Yeah. That's the only thing I remembered about Meryl's team. I remember it was like the guy she marries is the poop man from MGS1.
Yeah.
So
Man. Like,
He was both the guard that Meryl steals the uniform from and the guard that is guarding you like with a ketchup bottle. That whole fiasco, right?
I believe so.
I think so, yeah.
We talked on this a bit about with Mei Ling earlier, but like it feels like I don't know if this game really needed all these Metal Gear Solid 1 characters. Like I feel like Meryl's here. I don't really know why she's here. Like I like Meryl, but it doesn't feel like it just feels like it's that Metal Gear Solid 1 nostalgia stuff, right?
Yeah. Because
The Johnny thing is probably the worst offender here, but I don't know.
I think, Jack, the way you phrased it of like, I think this is what you said. It might have been Omar, but like it feels like it's the third in a trilogy that like we just don't have the second one.
Yeah.
It is weird because like Meryl rides off with Snake at the end of 1, and then we get so much told to us of like what she's been up to here, and then it's like sure, you just gotta buy it, kind of. And it's not just her, it really is a lot of these other characters. Like Naomi, we do get some revelations and insight into what her whole deal was, but like it just feels like similar to what we were talking about in Act 3, I think, of the big boss game that never was. Like, it feels like they just wanted to end it here, but they didn't, because we talk about how there's a groundwork in this game to set up the 2 more games after that. It's very weird. It feels rushed, kind of, but like,
yeah,
I don't hate it, but like, yeah, I don't know.
To further that point of what you brought up, like Act 3, when we got that whole PowerPoint slideshow, that felt like, I think I said that then, it felt like a game, that didn't exist, and they were talking about it. Metal Gear Solid 4 as a whole feels like a sequel to a game that doesn't exist. Like, I feel like should have been a nice in between the events of Metal Gear Solid 2 and Metal Gear Solid 4 at this point. Because you're right, there is a lot of rush stuff, and there's a lot of stuff that is told to us in the attempt to wrap up the Metal Gear Solid franchise nicely. And it's not wrapped up very nicely.
Yeah, because
story-wise, at least.
I remember talking about this on the show, but like I don't remember when exactly. But it was, I think, a make or break moment where we were just like, oh, we got to be okay with this. Of like, how did the world end up like this? Like, it was like 6 years since the Big Shell incident, and like, we just suddenly became war torn. And at the end, we do get the little lines that end up going diagonal to explain something, but like it still feels like it's definitely a jump. And I think they could have done this exact same thing, this exact same story, but if there was something in between, if it was a movie, if it was anything, I would be more on board with some of the leaps we make here, I think, because it's just
maybe a Ground Zeroes like game.
Yeah.
Does it feel like unearned?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, because that's how I was feeling. Like, yeah, when Jack, you're talking about like that, even like the Lord of the Rings like war prep scene or whatever, like where it's about to end. Like, it definitely feels like we're reaching a conclusion, but I'm not really sure the way we got here is like really feels like this is it. I don't know.
And I wonder too, Omar, if like the way we're playing it makes that more of a problem, because we're playing all of the games in close proximity. And maybe Kevin could have insight here because he's seeing all of them for the first time. Like,
yeah,
MGS4 came out, you said 2009, right? You said
2008.
2008. 10 years after MGS1. So like, a lot of these things might feel earned by like the players who were there for MGS1 and 98 playing this now, because they've just been stewing on those characters for that much time, and they get to see where they end up. But like,
and putting more expectations in there.
Yeah, and like, it is relying on nostalgia a lot. So like, seeing Meryl end up happily ever after for somebody who was there from 98 without much in between explanation except the time they actually spent waiting for those answers, like, how do you feel seeing it all narratively? Like, what are you thinking of all these leaps from the returning characters, the people from 1, 2, like, that you're seeing unfold here?
I don't know. Yeah, like it's like there were certain things in the game that you just had to take, right? Like the whole big boss and like Zero being like, you know, and the whole cast of MGS3 being the original Patriots and stuff like that. Like, but then I feel like they do that too often in this game, where they just kind of say, "Hey, just go with it." But it's like there's some big things. Like, are you like you're really gonna ask me, and we're not gonna further explain this necessarily, or like have, you know, a little bit of lead up to this particular moment? Like, we're just gonna do it, and you're just gonna say it, and we're just gonna have to take it. Like, I think there are certain things that you can do that with, that me as a player I can live with, but I think that it was a little bit too much in this act, where I just feel like it was definitely a lot that like I felt was kind of rushed. And I was talking to Tajay, and he said that that was his first Metal Gear.
Mhm.
So he like liked it as like a shooter, whatever, and all that. But like he would say, "Oh yeah, no, like I was skipping those mission briefings, like whatever." I'm like, "Oh okay." It's like you just played like a totally different way,
Mhm.
and he ended up liking it. But I still like this game for sure. It's just definitely the end. It's like I don't think they stuck the landing that well. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like, yeah. So
Don't
yeah.
hate me for this,
Okay.
because like Jack, I remember week 1, you compared it to The Force Awakens, right?
You're about to compare it to Rise of Skywalker.
When I was playing it this week, I was
No,
like,
I'm right.
I was like, this
Yeah.
is Rise of Skywalker. Like,
Yeah,
I agree.
you're pretty
I
much
agree.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
agree. I agree with that too.
I don't mean that in a horrible, like, I don't. Rise of Skywalker is my least favorite Star Wars movie, right? Like, here, I still enjoy this game. We'll get to rankings at the end of this conversation, right? But, like, I still enjoy MGS4, but there were points where I was just like, I'm going to just stop thinking. I'm just going to take it all. I'm going to write it down. This is the decisions we're making. Are they bad decisions? Maybe not. Are they stupid? Absolutely. Like, I definitely, early on, I think, after the microwave scene, which we can talk about in a sec, I immediately was like, this is Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. 100%.
Everything else,
Definitely.
the first few
Definitely.
acts, I could get on board and say, like, yeah, it's Force Awakens, fun time, remember this, but here it's like, really just escalates.
I think starting in Act 3, it really starts to feel that way, and I definitely had a very similar thought to you, Christian, during Act 5, because I think that's really where it's like, oh god, they really went for it, did they? But this game is more of a ride than anything.
Yeah.
And if you're on board and you got your seatbelt buckled, you're probably gonna have a good time.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Man. Like, yeah. This is not Metal Gear related. I just gotta bring it up because I just remembered. Christian talking about Rise of Skywalker. You're incredibly wrong about Babu Frick, but we can keep it going. That's it. I just have to really just let that out.
That Babu Frick tweet was fucking mean. What was up with that?
That was some bullshit, Christian. Like that was some dead ass bullshit. Like
He's
I
just
almost
like-
reported you.
It is a puppet. It is a cool puppet in a
Like
movie.
you like Muppets? Like what is your deal, bro?
Do
You know what I'm
not
saying? Like,
dare bring Muppets
I am.
down to the level of
I
Babu
am.
Frick.
I am, sir.
Babu Frick's a
I
little,
am,
little
sir.
potato-looking dude who screams
Oh,
once.
potatoes.
You know?
Muppet looks like raw fish. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it looks like uncooked,
What
unseasoned.
Muppet
like,
are you looking
mini.
at? Kermit the Frog?
Dude, have you seen Miss Piggy?
Yeah, it looks like-
What's up with
Yeah,
her?
what is that?
It's a pig. What do
You.
think it is, Kevin? Anyway.
I'll be
Uh,
fixing that. I will not stand for it.
Babu
I
Frick's good
didn't.
stuff.
You guys are so right about the Rise of Skywalker thing. I didn't
Very
consider
true.
it.
Mhm.
I was playing that thinking like, The Dark Knight Rises, but
No, I
no,
thought that
man,
too.
all that. Sure, but the stupid
What,
romance
the best
with
Batman
Meryl.
movie?
Do you think it's okay? I like that movie
No,
too.
absolutely
Okay, okay. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, like the scene with Akiba and Meryl, right? That felt like some Rise of Skywalker stuff too. Like the sappy. I don't know, just all the kids in this come out in the end too. Maybe not to jump too
What's
far.
that?
It definitely-
Let me stop. Yeah.
What's up? Okay,
No, we'll get there. Yeah, for sure.
it's got a real dumb vibe to it, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
like MGS4 like feels like the first 4 acts, at least to me, felt for the most part like what's seeming to be a good end of a trilogy, even though it's the 4th game.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like 1, 2, and then 4
Yeah.
being the trilogy of these characters. But then yeah, that last act kind of makes it like a semblance of like the bad trilogy, 3rd movie that does things that are kind of out there, like the 3rd Star Trek movie from J.J. Abrams, right? Like that's probably like my least favorite out of that trilogy, even though I love the first one and love the second one, right? 3rd one wasn't that great, and like Rise of Skywalker, Dark Knight Rises, like we have so many examples of that, and I think it all fits for this last act specifically.
Yeah.
Just makes it feel like that. Yeah.
Just gonna let everyone know, I'm not gonna take any more slander for Dark Knight Rises. my friend and I stood up in that theater when we saw that and said, "That's the best movie we've ever seen."
Nice.
Our opinions have shifted since then, but that thought was there. So please, no more besmirchment of the Dark Knight Rises. Just simply won't have it.
I remember seeing that movie and walking out of the theater going, "Damn, he really outdid the Dark Knight."
Yeah, dude. First viewing of that movie,
Yeah.
everyone should have stopped right there because it was perfect.
No, we'll get back to Metal Gear in 1 second, but exact same thing. I saw a midnight showing of Dark Knight Rises that had Begins and Dark Knight in the Regal. It was Begins at 6, Dark Knight at 9, Rises at midnight, and I saw it at the end. I was like, Jesus Christ, best trilogy. And then I saw it one other time in theaters. I own it. I've never watched it since 2012 because I know I'm gonna hate it.
I feel like you were the first person who was cool in that movie I met, or when that movie came out, I thought you were always kind of cooler on that than other people.
Yeah,
but
a little bit.
I don't know.
So
the tides have changed on that, and eventually it'll wrap it back around, and everyone will realize that movie's perfect. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I'm waiting. I'm sitting here waiting. Right side of history.
I just want more celebrity pictures of Kojima. Just a celebrity. I
got him.
Those are the fucking best, man. Like those are so funny. Like
yeah,
I want him next to Snoop Dogg.
I'm sure it
does
exists.
Does that exist?
I bet it does.
Oh yeah, googling.
Solid Snake turns into popcorn here with this microwave.
Now this is a cool moment.
Yeah,
I think maybe I didn't need the Missouri cutting next to it, but mashing the triangle over and over again. I remember distinctly when I played that when I was like 10 or 11. I died like 5 times during that.
Oh really?
Really?
But now, yeah, it was rough for me. I swear. And I think eventually at some point it gave it to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just like said, okay, you can't do this. We're just gonna give it to you. But yeah, now I managed to do it, and my thumb was dying. Like I felt just as much pain as Snake did. And I think that was cool, even now I think at this point it'd probably be a huge accessibility concern this moment. You just should be able to hold the triangle. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Like the actual action is cool, right? And like it, you like mashing triangle, you kind of feel that sense of urgency, and you get more into it. Obviously problems with those that cannot mash buttons like that, quickly and intensely and all that. But the reason why like I walk away and kind of don't like it is that like it's never really brought up after that he was microwave cooked to like a very serious degree, and it's like he does this crazy boss fight that we're gonna get to. He does all these other things, but like he was cooked in a microwave for like 3 minutes. Like is that a long? What are the effects of that?
He's got enough health issues,
Yeah.
Maybe the microwave negated some of the issues, because honestly, I thought that was some of the explanation of why he gets to walk away at the end. I thought he got through that microwave oven. It's like, oh, it killed the fox die.
Did they
I thought that's
cook
what
the
it
nano
was.
machines? Yeah, like did they cook the fox die? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. So when I first played this, I loved this sequence because it's so intense, and you just in the back of your head, you're just saying go, because you just want to get there, and it's very tense, and cutting back and forth I think is really cool. But like what Kevin said, immediately when you get through this sequence and you get to GW, Snake's just like, hey Otacon, can you take care of this? And it's like, so Snake didn't need to do this at all.
That's what I'm saying.
And this game, I've realized, has no stakes.
Yeah.
No one of consequence really dies unless I'm wrong, but
like Raiden in the last chapter.
Not this time. He's back. He's back and better. We should talk about that because that's right before. I forgot he came back in this game.
Bro.
I totally thought he was dead by the end of Act 4, and I was very surprised to see him.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, it felt like again, Rise of Skywalker reference. It felt like a Chewie thing, where it's like, if you're gonna flirt with the idea of doing that, I would almost rather you just do it.
Yeah,
and just have some concrete. Just do it. If you're gonna flirt with the idea of doing it, just do it, right? Yeah, I was. Again, I love Raiden, right? But I was like, damn, like now, what felt like a big sacrifice, how I said last week of like, oh, like I wonder how Snake is gonna feel after this, like having this guilt of like, being the sole survivor, like everyone looking at him like a legend and all that, trying to protect him, and dashes out the window because yeah, no, he made it.
Yeah, 'cause
Lights off, everything like, okay.
you also have
Yeah.
to wonder, like, I know this is a big thing we talked about when we first met Ryan in the game, right? Like, bringing him back to where he was, like, before MGS2 even. And, like, we put him in a position at the end of the last act where he could just be dead, And it's like, man, that's real sad. Ryan was a lost cause. He tried. Didn't work out. Who's to say that doesn't happen again if he's still alive at the end of this game, Like, I know he says that he's going to work with this kid and Rose, but, like, he said that at the end of 2, Like, why not just kill him? I feel like it would have done more for, like, maybe not more for his character, right? Because Ryan, I think, I can confidently say now, my favorite character out of the entire series, I think, but, like, I feel like it would have been more impactful, like you said, Kevin, if it just was like a sacrifice. It's like, that's really sad, and he made that choice, but that's what he thought was right, and he died because of it. So
a lot of stuff in this game exists to get a really good one-liner, because Ryan comes back and says, "I am lightning, the rain transformed," and it's like, okay,
yeah,
that's
pretty
dope
cool. As hell.
Yeah,
it is dope.
You get
it
like
is
these
dope.
80s, like throughout the whole game, you get these fucking 80s action lines, and it's like, okay, all right, not deserved, but that's cool. Sounded good to my ears, so you got that right at least.
Yeah.
Snake
And-
being like, oh, sorry.
no,
go
no,
ahead.
no, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was just saying, like, Snake telling Raiden, no, you have a heart. Oh, your heart is human.
yeah,
Like,
He's human.
Yeah.
this is dumb.
But no, like it's so true because like Otacon with the Mark III is like going super slow next to Snake, right?
Mhm.
And it's like, why is Snake even doing this?
Yeah.
If he's gonna do literally nothing
Yeah.
in that room, yeah.
I mean, he
Just
had to
send the Mark
defend-
III in.
Yeah, he had to defend the
Yeah.
Mark III though from like the little
Yeah,
I mean,
but
okay,
that's
sure,
blobs.
but like,
That's the only.
you
thing
could write
though.
around that.
Yeah,
You could
just
write
put a
around
nuke
that.
on that thing. Who knows?
we put like a EMP perk on the Mark III. You know
That
what
was
I'm saying?
another thing I was
I don't
gonna
know.
bring up. Was there not one point at this game where the Mark III shot a pistol, or the Mark II maybe?
Oh, maybe. I
It
think.
could
I
spark
think.
people.
I thought it shot a gun because like when all those frogs were coming up, I forgot that Raiden came back here. I knew he was alive still. I knew that
thought it
Raiden
shot
was
the
still a
gun.
player. I know he didn't die last
Yeah.
week. I was playing you, Kevin, but I thought the
Damn.
Mark III was gonna just pick up the AR and go off on the
Damn.
stuff. But
That
no,
would have
that'd
been awesome. That would have been so cool.
be- Yeah.
The funniest, the stupidest, funniest line in this whole game is they get to GW and they see all the graves, and then Otacon goes, "It's like a graveyard in here." It's like, yeah, that's actually what it is.
Oh, I also think like the worst gameplay sequence, arguably probably in this whole entire game, is the lead up where you have just a bunch of those little fucking balls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Awful.
that is next to like the worst
In
worst
Three-
shit. So bad.
3 or 4 copy and pasted corridors too. Like the city was
Literally.
a hallway. Like
and it's like
there's-
swarming you. It's like really dumb. It's really
There's
dumb.
no good way of doing it because people in your chat, Kevin, I was briefly there for your stream, and they were saying like jump and roll, which is what I did.
Yeah.
But even if you do that, you'll still get knocked down. It's so frustrating, and
It's so bad. It's so
those
bad.
those things are awful. Those
Yeah.
are the worst enemies in the game.
Yeah.
And I'm
100%.
very upset that they were all around Shadow Moses.
Yeah.
Big
that's
sad.
rough.
Yeah.
we're in like Arsenal Gear 2, or like something like that's been like modeled as it. Like
Yeah.
no, it is an Arsenal Gear model, right?
It is.
Like
Yeah, it's a prototype model, I think is what it
Yeah.
said, right? It's a
okay,
Yeah.
liquid solar prototype model, something like that.
It's
It
like
doesn't
it's
feel
like
like
how
it.
the what's that?
it doesn't really feel like it to me. Like there's
Yeah.
no love for it like there was for Shadow Moses, which is fine. I understand, but what were you saying, Jack?
I was gonna say something stupid.
Let me hear it.
No,
I was gonna
please,
say this
please.
is like the tan version of Batman's Tumblr in The Dark Knight,
Sure.
of the
Oh,
prototype version.
okay.
Just
See,
like
it is
it's
very
there,
stupid.
you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the entire sequence here, because like this is really the last. This is one other thing we do, but like the last thing you do in this epic Metal Gear Solid saga, essentially, because like I think that everything after this game exists in like a different bubble. I think which I won't say anything else because of, we're trying to act like those don't exist yet, but like for a conclusion, it's so stupid that you just walk down like six hallways, because the microwave is 2 hallways, and then we get 4 of these with the little ball droids, and then that was just upsetting to me. But we do get the GW graveyard. It is revealed Naomi's master plan. She worked with Sunny, modifying Emma's worm from MGS2 to not only take out GW, but the entire Patriots AI. And by the time she says it, it's already done. And she sacrificed herself, I think, to make all this stuff happen. Like, the Naomi message made me feel a little bit better about the conversation we were having about her last week. I have a question for the panel. Did Naomi do more for the world in this game, in this universe, than the boss ever did? Because I think she did.
Good or just general?
Just general.
Yeah.
Just general.
Oh, I don't know. The boss, not Big Boss.
No, the boss. Because what did
the boss is like a misunderstood pariah whose message gets like manipulated by several people. Yeah. I guess like her personally, no, but after her death, her being is just stretched and manipulated by so many people that she is like the arbiter for everything happening in this series. So I suppose, I honestly think she might. Naomi fixes it.
Like, the boss sacrificed herself so Russia and the U.S. wouldn't go out war. But would they even have at all? Was that a real true threat if the Patriots had their way? Like,
what happened in real life?
They did. Right? Like,
they did?
Yeah, because
they did?
The boss,
the Cold War?
The boss died.
What is this?
Cold War.
Okay.
But, like, I don't know. Like, it just seemed like a bit much, like she died. I really don't think she had to die. They could have faked her death, and then we wouldn't have had all the bad things at all. Naomi, she probably also still didn't have to die, but like she did a lot,
Actually, it's not Naomi who did the most, Christian. It's Sunny for separating the Patriot systems.
No, you're right.
Lifeline is still available.
You're correct. Yes, Sunny's the true savior of everything.
Thank you, Sunny.
I gotta be honest. I'm kind of with you, Christian. I feel like all of the qualms that I had with Naomi, maybe not all of them, but a lot of them sort of evaporated because I did like this bit of explanation because I totally forgot we were going to get any more explainers from her. Mm-hmm. And a lot of this game deals with guilt and like the consequences of people's actions from like the previous games. And Naomi's guilt largely stems from the nanomachines. And I feel like this is a good closing loop for her to be like, instead of, not nano, well, I guess nanomachines, but Fox die.
Right. And
for the closing loop to be Fox Alive, which is a dumb name, but it's cheesy in like a silly way.
Yeah,
but,
it's cool.
Sure. But like, I like that. I feel like her motivations are still unclear in a lot of ways, especially with Vamp. But I feel like separating that from her character arc from Metal Gear Solid 1 to Metal Gear Solid 4, I feel like this act in particular does a good job of at least trying to wrap things up. And I do like seeing that. So yeah, it kind of turned me around.
Because like now we also know why she was captured and why she was flip-flopping, because she was trying to stay covered so Liquid didn't suspect anything. So all worked out.
But I mean, okay, I
think I'm with Omar.
Okay.
I don't know what you're about to say, but I think I'm with you, but go ahead.
If she just talked to Liquid about his plans, couldn't they just couldn't she just give him the stick and they could upload the worm and destroy the system?
No, people in stories can't talk. There's no communication in stories.
True.
It reminds me, once again, let's just bring up the Star Wars reference. Why not? Like and it's tough when I say this critique because like I get that anyone can do anything in these stories, and there's probably a much easier way to go about it, but then we wouldn't have a story, right? So like I do understand that, right? But it reminds me of like the Poe, and I forgot her name in Last Jedi, and if she had just told
Laura
Poe
Dern.
the plan,
Oh,
thank you,
hold up.
Laura Dern, whatever, yeah, her, like just told the plan, everything would have been kumbaya, everything would have been fine, right? But I feel like a similar thing could have been done with Naomi. You know what I'm saying?
But why would Liquid have done that? Because if
No, I mean Naomi.
no, I'm saying like why would Liquid say yes to that though? Because that would have taken out everything, and she needed Sunny to be the one to fix it, to make it be everything.
I thought Liquid wanted to take down the system.
No, he wanted to take down JD so GW could replace JD, and he'd have control over the other ones.
Yeah.
Even at the end of the story, he doesn't want the whole thing to go down?
That's
Or am I confusing that with Ocelot?
That's Ocelot. Ocelot wanted that.
Okay, then. Okay, so throughout the course of the story, it is Liquid. It is Ocelot operating as Liquid.
Kind of, but to a degree that Ocelot's barely there, I think. And I think what brought him back was just the extreme stuff at the end of like Snake beating him to the brink of death and shooting him full of suppressors. I think that's probably what took away the psychosis stuff.
Why did Ocelot want Liquid psychosis?
I think because he wanted to... That's where I'm hazy. I think he wanted to get close to... no, he wanted... Because Ocelot was working with Big Boss, and they both hated the Patriots. But Liquid wanted to overthrow the Patriots, I think, but not erase them. But Ocelot wanted to erase them. So the Patriots saw Liquid trying to just get one thing of theirs so they wouldn't suspect the whole system would go away. Because that's what Ocelot wanted, I think.
I think you have a much better comprehension of the story than I do. So I can't speak. I don't know what happened.
That was a lot, yeah. Like when you say it, it all connects, but like, am I going to be able to recount that like tomorrow? No.
Not good storytelling.
It's not, yeah, because like...
Yes, no.
Why don't we get into Ocelot then? Because Naomi's whole thing wraps up there. We get the big fight, which... Do we want to talk about the fight first, and then we can talk about the story stuff behind it, or...
Yes, please.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
When I said last week that there might have been something that if it hit the way I thought it was going to hit, might be my favorite moment, I still really loved this, but it's not my favorite moment.
Yeah, it's fine.
It worked for me. I'm stupid. It worked for me.
I had a good time with it too, man.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, I still love this moment, but
the choreography, like the way they hit, is so fast despite being so old, and the way they get worse and worse as the fight goes on. I think is really cool.
You know what? I'll say this. Maybe not the entire sequence, but my favorite 3 seconds in the entire series is when they're both tired and they shoot each other up with the nano machine so they can keep fighting.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And the bar goes up.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You expect that to come too, because they're in that position.
That
it's like, are they going to do it? Yeah. They did it. Yeah.
They almost kiss. They're so close to kissing so many times.
This fight triggered of past memory. I think it was Christian that told me okay, light spoilers for Death Stranding. There's a similar boss fight that happens in Death Stranding between two characters. And I think it was Christian that was like, yeah, this is a Metal Gear reference.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh shit, all right, cool. And it was cool to come full circle 2021 and live that out. Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
I still think it's cool.
Yeah. I liked this one more than the Death Stranding one.
Yeah.
This is ultimately like a remake of the Metal Gear Solid 1 fight, right? Just with some more mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's better. Definitely. I like this one.
Cool.
Nah. No, I was allowed to say they like the first one. I was fighting and defending that thing because I thought.
I did not like the first one.
I think you were with me a little bit that you thought it was a cool set piece at least.
I thought it was cool. I think it looks gorgeous too. You see that big Chungus meme with it recently?
Yes.
Yeah, it's an iconic set piece. I think.
It's a cool set piece for sure, but the first one, nah, that one ain't it. No. This one I thought was cool because it kind of reminded me the Skybox kind of reminded me of MGS2 in a way, Sure. Just being maybe because sunset, you're on the water, like stuff like that. I don't know, but
Also, call back to
I thought it was
kinda.
cool.
You're on top of an arsenal gear at the end.
That too.
Also, they
Yep.
play the Metal Gear Solid 2 song.
And all those music. Oh, so good, so good.
Like, I like this one fine. It's one of those examples of an end boss fight just introducing like entirely new mechanics, because this is CQC, but it's like way more in depth than I think you've ever had. And I hit the select button. I think I was trying to do codec, and then it brought up the menu. I was like, oh, here's a menu I have to learn. So that was fine.
You could not pause this moment.
Yeah.
Like, you cannot press a start button.
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Oh,
wow.
I didn't realize that. I pulled up the controls, but that's probably the only way you could do it.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, obviously you get the nostalgia of going through 1, 2, and 3.
The name changes.
So
too.
it's cool to yeah. The theme
The
as well.
text in the health bars changed too to the game. I thought that was really
Right.
cool. Yeah.
That is cool. The fight itself, I was just like whatever. But I think the set piece is and the nostalgic stuff, I think is the main draw for me.
Chat was telling me that. Sorry. Chat was telling me that the controls reverted to MGS1. Is that true?
No.
No, right? Yeah, like someone said that.
No,
I'm like,
R1
wait,
was never
I don't-
CQC in MGS1.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I was like, I don't know if that's necessarily true, but okay. Yeah.
Yeah, just what you said of the set piece, Jack. I was just gonna say, like, I imagine if like Schwarzenegger and Stallone ever fought each other at the end of a movie, it would be this, and I love that.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I do think it's a really great moment. I think it is one of my favorites in the series, but I think what bummed me out is because I watched this before, and I was like, I can't wait to play this. And for the first, like, 3 minutes of this encounter, it's a cutscene. I was like, do I get to play this? Am I misremembering? And then, what's there is still good, but...
I had the same thought. I was
yeah.
like, wait, this is playable, right?
Yeah, dude, I was getting worried. I was like, wait.
Yeah.
No, I wanted to, like, be the one to, like, inject him like that, but... it's still a great moment. I still love it. I definitely am not negative on it at all. It's just, I don't think it's my favorite in the series.
It's like a fun celebration in Metal Gear, which I think I like, but also it doesn't feel earned to me still.
Yeah, I think I asked this question to you, Omar, a couple weeks ago, but if there were no other major callbacks that are like super in your face, I think this would have hit harder too, because it's like
Probably.
really playing on the nostalgia. It's the last time Snake and Liquid, right? Like, I think that would hit, and especially because of the music too. Like,
Yeah.
but
They get like, it's making references like that gets pretty annoying fast, and I feel like this game is built on that, which is like just not the way
yeah,
to do it.
But overall, it is a really cool set piece, so I like that a lot.
Do you have a favorite moment? Like, what are your guys' favorite piece from this, or favorite moment? Like, did you like the Metal Gear Solid 2 part, the 1 part, 3 or 4? I think probably 4.
One, they played the song that I wanted them to play.
Was that the
One
I
is
said
the
the
only
encounter?
song, I thought.
Oh wait, no,
Yeah.
was it?
Was it 3? They do the Snake Eater song.
3 was Snake Eater, which is like
2 is-
that's
That's
yeah.
what I liked.
Yeah.
Snake Eater was the best, yeah, for sure, for sure.
2, they got a song from the Tanker incident, I believe.
Yeah, I did not recognize the 2 song personally.
They wanted
yeah.
one particular one.
Yeah, I know they did.
Couldn't do it.
Yeah, I wrote that
Oh.
down. I said during the Otacon speech at the end, they wanted that song so bad.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'd say the MGS3. I really fell hard this act for the old Snake theme.
So
I
good.
just like guitar. I think
So
that's
good.
one of the coolest fucking themes ever.
Yeah.
Ever. I think it works so well. It's so good. So good. So that one's definitely up there for me too, but I think Snake Eater, which, that song is the best part of Metal Gear Solid 3. So, yeah. It really is.
The 4 part, I think, during this fight is the old Snake's theme, and then like the punches are so brutal during that, like it's swing,
Hell yeah.
and then this
So fucking
like,
cool.
and I don't think you can lose that at that point. I don't know if any of you guys died during this fight sequence at all. I did.
No.
Okay, I died during the Metal Gear Solid 2 fight initially. Then I managed to do the whole thing. But yeah, I think during the 4 part is just you swing as soon as you get the gameplay back, and then you just beat it. It was cool.
Trust, he got Millie rocked. Trust, we took care of business for sure. Absolutely.
So once the fight wraps, this is where we get the big reveal that beneath it, well, we get the explanation for it later, but we get a hint that Ocelot is actually still there beneath it all. You're pretty good. He does the hand thing.
Dude, but I got so mad during this because that was so close to being a perfect moment to me.
Mm-hmm.
But they have to call back with the Metal Gear Solid 3 audio in the background going, "You're pretty good."
Yeah.
Like, just have him say, "You're pretty good," and let me figure out the rest.
Yeah, I'm with you. Because, like, Ocelot, through all these games, too, is, like, right there behind Raiden for me. So, like, it was such a cool thing. It's like, oh, he was a genius. And then makes it a little weaker.
It's it's like in Spider-Man Homecoming when he's looking at the puddle with his mask and you hear Tony Stark's dialogue from, like, an hour previous in the movie where he's like, if you don't do nothing without the suit, you shouldn't have it at all. And it's like, we get that from the visual storytelling.
Yeah.
But they're like,
an hour ago.
the MCU's like, audience dumb, say it again. And yeah, definitely the same sort of vibe with this.
That's a good point. I never thought about it that way, but yeah, no, you're totally, like, that's completely unnecessary.
Like,
damn.
If you wanted to do it, just make it the Mash X and don't have the audio. Like, I don't even, I think there might have been a Mash X there.
There is a Mash X. Okay. Yeah, there is. There is a Mash X.
But, like, just don't do it. And if you click X, you just see the young him. And then maybe that makes you think more, you know? Because I think it was I just don't like the difference between the two voices back to back. I thought it was fine in 3, but, like, hearing the young Ocelot here, it was like, oh, it was weird.
Yeah.
Kevin, were you going to say something?
No, I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
So, do we want to get into the epilogue?
Is there anything else I'm trying to think of?
There's is the wedding is the epilogue as well?
Yeah.
The wedding is the epilogue. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I mention one random thing?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Just because we were talking about the Old Snake theme, I also want to shout out that really heavy vocal theme. I think it's called the Love theme, where that lady is really singing her heart out. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's going like, I can't do it, but like it's awesome whenever that shows up.
Totally.
Jack knows what I'm talking about. Kevin,
I know
from MGS1.
No, 4. It's the very beginning of the game where you hear it when Snake is giving that speech about war has changed.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, and it comes out a few times during this game, but it makes me happy.
I'm not remembering. Yeah,
the music I think is excellent in this game. That's one of the stand up.
Yeah.
And it's great, especially after losing the amazing theme that we had in 2 going into 3, which they like made even more amazing. A good replacement, a very good replacement, I think, with music here.
And they definitely allude to that theme, and I kind of wish they didn't, because like when that's hitting, it's like, man, this would be even just better if they had the other theme. Because like I do think the new original stuff is really strong. I just wish, I'm already so much in this playthrough thinking about how great a different game is. Like, why do that again? It was something that's already good,
Yeah, they keep doing it.
Yeah. So, Naked Sin. There's a couple main chunks. There's the stuff with Meryl's wedding. It's kind of spread out, but we can talk about that all at once. We can talk about Raiden all at once, and then the graveyard all at once.
Yeah,
how does that
good
sound?
Call. Sure.
So, Meryl's wedding. Looked built, walking down the aisle with her dad that she wants to give a second chance, I guess. And we get her wedding with Akiba. Kevin, did you expect a wedding scene?
No, I did not. Absolutely not.
Well, what did you think of like seeing that there was an epilogue with a new title? Like, you knew there was a big cutscene coming. Like, were you prepared?
No. It was like an embarrassing amount of time. Like, it had been like 30 minutes. I'm like, oh my god, this is the hour and a half one. All right, so like I stood up, did little stretches on stream. I was like, all right, guys, like I didn't realize it, but yeah, I haven't played anything in like 45 minutes. So like, yeah, I wish that the wedding gave me more of an endearing feeling about it. but I just can't help but just not feel that way. I like, and and like I think I know why, and it's that like yeah, there were little hints where you saw Akiba slash Johnny and Meryl like having kind of a little thing, you know, like I think about the end of Act 3 when the Volta explodes and all that, and then like things really kind of get dire for everyone. And Akiba saves Meryl. Like I think about that as like a touchstone to make sense of this relationship now being a marriage, right? It just doesn't. It didn't hit for me personally. Like it just didn't. You know, like it was cool seeing all these characters like come in like in a different context other than like war, right? And like fighting a greater evil and stuff. Um, it was also weird seeing Meryl in a dress because we've just never seen a wedding dress at all in Metal Gear, and like that was just like definitely like a new thing for sure. Um, but yeah, no, I don't know. I didn't necessarily love it. Um, but yeah,
did you like when Drebin shows up with the champagne and flowers and everything?
I did. Okay. That one I did. Yeah,
I like
that one. That one felt the most like that's what he would do.
Yeah.
That seems like what he would do. Yeah. So that worked. I wish I had felt more about the about Colonel and Meryl kind of starting to extend the olive branch and all that, and extend some sort of level of peace. Because like, with my ending in MGS1, I knew from the jump that like, oh yeah, like Colonel is Meryl's dad, right? Like, so I wish like there was like a longer. I wish that was more satisfying. And like I guess to a degree it was, but then it gets more. You get more context as to why later on for sure.
Like we don't follow up on it, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. So. But overall, it is what it is. Yeah.
Omar, what do you think of this wedding scene?
I think it's really stupid. Just like I just don't think whoever is directing or writing these scenes, I know it might be Kojima, it might not be, I don't know. It's just got this real pulpy anime, like, it just doesn't seem great. I don't really know how to articulate this, and I know I'm doing a bad job at it, but but
I'm with you, I think.
Yeah, it's hokey, and it's inappropriate for what Metal Gear was, I think.
I think the main thing that rubbed off on me with here, and a lot of stuff with Otacon, honestly, which sucks because in the past I've really like related to him, or not related, but like I've sympathized for him for like when he's really upset and crying in 2 and in 1 even, but like when he was crying over the Naomi message where she was apologizing to him, I felt nothing. I was like, this just feels awkward. Like,
yeah.
Naomi, like it was really. I don't know, and I felt the same way here too, and I think it's for reasons Kevin said, but I'm with you for sure.
Cool. There's one other thing I want to mention about the Johnny Meryl thing. I just remembered from the scene where they're doing the Pirates of the Caribbean scene. Does he fall on top of Meryl at one point doing that whole like anime trope thing? I believe it's also in the Joss Whedon cut of Justice League.
It is.
Okay, I hate that. I hate that moment in everything ever.
It's also in Joss Whedon's Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Actually, no, I know what's up with that guy. Never mind. But like, stupid. Like,
Oh man.
Jack, how do you feel about this wedding scene?
I agree with you guys. It's silly. Like what Omar said, and there's a whole lot of this in the epilogue, especially with the scene that we're going to talk about next. But like what Omar said earlier, it's just a lot of concluding things that feel unearned. And I just wish there was more for this game to go off of. Yeah. And I just wish there wasn't Metal Gear Solid 3. Because I feel like this game deserved a game between 2 and 4 to really flesh out. And I feel like this game was really close to being an amazing Metal Gear game. And in some ways it is, but it feels like it's a sequel to a game that really just doesn't quite exist. And they're really piecing a lot of things together and trying to get the player to just go along with things, even though we haven't seen certain characters for literally 10 years, and it feels like we had seen them for multiple iterations before, even though we've only seen them once. So yeah, it's weird that we're getting an ending for Meryl, who I liked, but we really only saw her once before, and it feels like this is a character. The scene is framed as though we've known this character for decades at this point, or for multiple entries in this series, and we really haven't. So it feels so odd.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I'll bring this up later with the snake thing, but I think there might be another thing there that I would like to talk about that's kind of going off what you said, Jack.
Okay.
Raiden in the hospital. So I remembered this a little differently. I remembered an explanation on the cyborg stuff. That does not happen here.
I'm curious what you thought it was. Thought that. Okay. Because I don't know anything. I can't remember anything about the cyborg thing.
Okay.
Is it spoilers from a different game? Maybe
I haven't played.
Wait a minute. Oh shit! Wait, no, that's a big thing. Because shit,
They explain the cyborg thing in this game, don't they?
Do they?
I think they do.
I don't think they do.
No, they explain this stuff happens in this game somewhere. Where is?
Be careful.
Uh-oh.
Wait, no.
I feel
No,
They
falling.
don't. I
I
feel
feel
like
a
they
pedal
don't.
They
falling.
really don't.
I
They
feel
really
a pedal
don't.
falling.
They don't.
They
I
don't
am the
explain
flower.
it in this game.
Maybe not the
Flower in
cyborg
the
thing,
grass.
but did they? I'm not spoiling. I'm gonna tip my toes over here.
I don't. Okay, no. Okay.
But
They explain
Raiden
nothing
gets to
between
Sunny.
2 and 4.
He gets Sunny, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Don't they talk about that at all? What?
No, I think this. Oh, okay. I think because this is relevant to why I was justifying Raiden a couple episodes ago. Okay, I think this is important because I think this is a Kojima thing of like, oh, this is why. I don't think this is Revengeance because I haven't played it.
I think they did. They said it in this game.
No,
I don't
they
know.
really
What
did.
do they
So-
do?
No, maybe not the cyborg, but they explain why he gets fucked up, right? Don't they?
No.
No.
I don't
Listen,
think so.
the only
What did
thing
I
I
read?
remember personally, the only thing that I remember, this is probably not gonna help you. I'm sorry, but like the
No,
only thing I
it's okay.
remember being said about the nature of Jack / Raiden, is Naomi saying like, "Oh my God, they're still doing this." Like they're still doing this stuff, and like looking at him in horror as he's like laying down, from the end of Act 2.
Yeah.
No, but
You know what I'm saying?
I don't know when Revengeance takes place, okay? But I'm almost positive there is a reason that was like tied to this game of why Raiden became a cyborg. And I thought it was the coolest thing. So that's why I was defending him. Not even defending, but like that's why I was on board with it, and that's why I was trying to justify it earlier. So could I please say it? Because I think it's cool, and I think it's tied to this.
Before you say it, can I finalize my piece without spoiling it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I remembered. I totally looked at the Metal Gear wiki during this. I just remembered. I totally figured it out there. I don't think it's in this game. I think you guys are right. I'm sorry. I knew they just spoiled it, but yeah, I don't know where it is. Yeah.
You almost fucked up the flower.
Yeah, I
Damn.
almost did.
That was
Wait,
crazy.
so, I might just know a thing that's from Revengeance then.
I think you do. There's
For
no
Revengeance,
explanation
honestly,
in this game.
It might be from this and some weird backstory. Like, remember before this game came out, they put out the Metal Gear Solid Encyclopedia on the PSN store.
Yeah.
Which was like, it might be in some stupid detail like that.
Yeah,
or maybe a
'cause, like,
comic book.
If I knew where Revengeance took place, I would say it right now. But I'm gonna look that up quick. Kevin, tell me what your thought was seeing this scene.
Christian, text it to me or Omar.
It's too long.
I was
to
gonna.
Oh, okay.
I was gonna refer to the PlayStation All Stars. Let's see. No, I'm fine. Okay, so this scene, it's like I wish, because it's I guess what I feel like Omar wanted out of Raiden post what MGS2 says about, go off, live your life. Not sure why Raiden has to be told it twice, but like we're here now, right? But I do think that like it weakens it in a way, but then it's like you still got really cool scenes of Raiden, but then it's like, So that's why I'm under the assumption right now, this is just a speculative thing, that like Rising is about is placed before MGS4, right? Given that like now I guess, which number one, whose body parts are those? Like right? Like he's all stitched together, right? Like is it literally just different? How does that work? Like that is like a okay, it's an interesting thing to really kind of mellow on, you know? Because like it was my impression that like oh, maybe over half, like definitely a majority of his body throughout the majority of Metal Gear Solid 4 is all machinery, right? So now he seemed to somehow revert back to a human form, which is a lot to even take in. Like how is that even possible? Uh, but yeah, but then we get the explanation of like Colonel and Rose did this fake relationship to hide the kid, so that I believe the SOP wouldn't be looking into them too much. Is that the gist of it, I
I
guess?
think it's the Patriots. Or
Sorry,
I
the
don't really,
Patriots, excuse me. Patriots? Like,
uh,
is that
I believe so. The whole thing was to hide the Patriots from this kid and
from the kid?
and Rose, I guess, too, probably.
Yeah. So
Yeah, that's a lot. That's
Omar, how do you
yeah, it's a
feel
lot.
about the justification for Colonel marrying a woman his daughter's age because he wanted to protect her and her son because he screwed over Raiden, or a AI version of himself screwed over Raiden, and probably out of guilt.
Is that why it is because the guilt thing?
I think so, because he
I
was saying that he
it
sacrificed his
sounds
life for them.
No, you're right. But there was one thing in here that I was kind of surprised at, where it was like they actually did mention that Raiden and the Colonel worked together before.
Yeah.
So he didn't only work with an AI one. I guess they actually did have a relationship, which I don't think I realized. But what was I talking about? Sorry.
Just Colonel
Yeah, I
being a
think it's
creep.
just another layer that's unnecessary. I would have much rather Raiden not be in this game at all, and I think this was probably a little way they kind of do it. You know,
Hmm.
not into it personally. How did you feel about it?
I'm okay with it because I think, you know, this is probably a weak motivation for it, but Raiden just seeing he has a son who thinks he's cool might like reach into his cold heart that's been so scorned of being a child soldier and realizing he could give him a life that he never had. I think like might be enough of a push for me to like understand like okay, he probably won't go down that path again. And the reason he went down that path after 2, I tie it to the exact same reason the world went down this path of like the Patriots actually didn't lose. So because things happened, because he, you know, I did DM you, Omar. I tried to check with Jack. He didn't know if it was from Revengeance or not.
I'm looking at this DM. I can confirm a yes or no kind of thing if you want.
Sure. Is it in
Uh,
Revengeance?
I don't know if it's in Revengeance, but that is the explanation I know
Okay.
as well. So I
Yeah.
don't know where it
Uh,
is. I don't think
Christian
it's in
texted
Revengeance though.
Christian texted me that, and the second part of that um, was the first time I ever heard of that. So I don't think that's in this game.
Well,
you know
Actually,
what? Let's just burn the flower.
Yeah, because the
Just
thing
say
is,
it
I
out
don't think
loud.
it's in this game, but
I'm
it
playing.
doesn't.
I'm playing.
I don't
Okay.
think it's going to be.
I was joking. I was
point.
joking. Don't do it. I was
Oh,
joking.
okay.
Oh.
All right.
I was joking.
No, because listen, genuinely, I don't see how that's a big point of Revengeance.
Yeah,
If it's
and
in
also,
Revengeance.
Kevin,
I think
I
it
don't
would be
think
fine
you're
to
gonna
say.
get a satisfying
Really?
answer. Here, should I say it? I think it's
Just-
fine.
Yeah.
Listen,
I think you
if,
should say it.
Like-
if the panel says we have one
I
pedal
thought-
on the floor, if we're gonna do another one, it's okay.
If it's
Start the
contained
flamethrower.
within this one, if it's for MGS4 and improves MGS4, because when I was talking about it before, I said there's I think a fucking sick reason that he's a cyborg. This is the reason, and I think it improves his character in this game. For me, at least, I looked at him with zero issues because of this, so I think
Yeah.
it's fair to
Well,
say.
I think
Say
the
it,
one you
Omar.
sent me especially is slightly wrong,
Okay,
or I'm not sure. Should I say it? Sorry, I'll say it.
just yeah, go.
Got the clear?
Yeah.
Kevin, I need the clear from you.
We're gonna sacrifice a pedal. Let's do it.
All right. The way I understand it is that Raiden went to save Sonny, Olga's child at the end of
Yeah.
or after Metal Gear Solid 2, and I think he managed to get her out, but the Patriots said "fuck you" and went to fuck him up, and I think they took him in to do a bunch of cyborg ninja experiments, and they had him like they were like, can we? The experiment I remember reading was one that was like. Can the person still exist if we cut off everything from their body from the mouth half of the mouth down. So Raiden was like a head in a lab somewhere without the jaw, and that's how he became a cyborg. Just he did something against the Patriots, and they fucked with him and experimented on him a lot. I think
That's the explanation I like read somewhere, like what you did,
Okay.
Omar.
Okay.
But that's not in this game. But Christian,
Okay.
you texted me something that makes
Holy
a lot of
shit.
sense.
Yeah, so I heard something different.
Okay.
I still think that's fine if it was like against his will. I don't have an issue with this character doing that, right? But I thought it was willing, and the justification I thought was rad as hell, because we know at the end of MGS2, Olga's talking to him when she's dying. She's saying like, the Patriots are monitoring. I'm helping you to keep you alive because the Patriots are monitoring your vitals, and if they go blank, they're gonna kill my child. I thought he was like, so scorned and so dead set on helping her because of everything was so traumatic for him. And too, he was like, you know what? I'm going to make it so I just can't die. I'm going to become a cyborg so I can just like not lose my vitals to protect that kid until I find that kid. That's what I thought it was. And I thought that was awesome.
That's
That'd be
incredible.
cool. But then why did he have to become like a ninja?
Why not? He got a sword
I
at the
mean,
end too.
he's a cyborg, right? So
No, I know, but why couldn't he be a family man?
I mean, he could have been like a Vision. You're right,
Well,
but
he thinks he's a monster, and I think with the
But
context of
at the end of Metal Gear Solid 2, maybe he didn't. He was learning about himself.
I know, but I feel like there's enough, like, issues with Raiden that we've seen so far that, like, seeing the way the world went down and seeing everything that happened with Olga's kid, like, is enough.
Because Kojima writes it that way.
Yeah, but that's just how stories work,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just it just works. We have to take it.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I think with Raiden, there's enough justification with, like, seeing where he's written here of, like, the way the world went to and everything he went through. That
But then they give him the
buy
same
it.
exact arc.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's, like, revolutionary or anything, but I buy
It doesn't
it.
need to be revolutionary. It just feels like they just dug this character back up just to do the same thing. Like, what's the point of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think he didn't need to be here for sure, but I don't think it's, like, out of left field unreasonable to see him go down that path.
I feel like we don't see enough character regression in storytelling in general, and I just think that is refreshing enough to see. And I agree with Omar in a sense where it does kind of like it's one of those things where it's like I kind of wish we got a game in between to see that regression take place.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like seeing it in this game. I like that. I like how Raiden is essentially just a tragic character. I guess he redeems himself a little bit at the end of this game, and it's this scene especially with his son. I wrote down, "Bro, I'm crying," and I was. But it's funny because it's another instance of this isn't earned at all. It's just the circumstances of the scene itself and the emotions of the scene itself were enough for me to make me emotional, but it doesn't really land in the grand scheme of like the storytelling for the series because I really wish they had focused more on Rose and Raiden in this game and less on Naomi and Vamp in this game, because I feel like this would have felt more earned if throughout the course of this game we had more Raiden and more Rose, and they were sort of relegated to the background compared to like Vamp and Naomi for some reason. So
Yeah.
it's a little strange.
Like, that's my main issue with Raiden in the game is that I forgot about him like every act because they don't use him unless it's like, oh, how's Snake gonna get out of this? Raiden shows
All
up.
right. Yeah.
That was my biggest problem with him. Like, everything else is going on with him. Sure, I'd like to see more of it, to like just build up that shift because again, MGS3 shouldn't have been a Big Boss prequel, right? Like, there's a lot of leaps here, so if you're not gonna set that up in any other thing, then do it within this game, but they don't, so I'm with you, Omar, where I feel like he didn't need to be here at all. But what they do to his character, I think, is fine as like just a character thing. But it was unnecessary, I think.
I just probably can't separate the fact that this is only because people hated him into.
Yeah,
like,
I think that's
you're
and
right,
so they
yeah.
know Cyborg Ninja. Like I just see why it was written this way,
yeah.
and I'm not a fan. I think the idea that he's a tragic character, yes, sure, but like I feel like everyone in this game is a tragic character, right? Like who
Yeah, and
let me have one win, or let me just say Raiden's from Metal Gear Solid 2. He had a nice life. Snake was a legendary soldier. He taught him how to live.
I mean that's
Snake fucked that up. What does
that's
Snake even do? He always fucks up.
yeah, and that's where we leave off with Raiden now. Like presumably he will. Like who's to say?
Yeah,
I think
of course,
there's
he'll.
that issue. But like, yeah. Speaking of tragic characters, though, is there anything else to say about Raiden? Because I want to bring back the point I was going to bring up that Jack made.
Please do.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I think if Snake wasn't an old man, as much as I love Solid Snake, I don't think I'd feel bad for him too much. Like, I think part of the reason they also made him just old is so we feel bad for him. Because, like...
I feel bad for Snake in this game.
I know something about this game in development.
Okay.
Would you like me to share it?
Sure.
Spill the beans.
All right. The original ending for this game was supposed to have Snake and Otacon like kill themselves.
Holy fuck.
Actually, no. Okay, I'm sorry. No, to get hung. They were going to get hung for their war crimes. That was going to happen.
What?
Yeah. So
By
I
who?
wonder. I can't remember at this point. Let's say the government. Just go with me.
GW.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
He's back, or it's back. What was I? Yeah, I wonder if like maybe like Kojima thought if I make Snake old, so he's gonna die soon anyways. People won't be upset when he dies here. But that's just kind of what I think maybe.
That's so strange.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, no, sorry, go ahead.
The reason that was changed is because apparently Kojima Productions begged him to not do that. That's all I know.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Kevin?
I thought it was because it's like I'm 50-50 on like the aspect of like if you're gonna propose that you do something rash, most times if you're gonna even have that thought, I would rather you just do it low key. At the same time, what they propose that Snake does here is a very dark and very like holy fuck like, and it's like would I have really wanted that? Would I have really wanted that? And like, I think it could have been justified if it was still true that in 3 months he would be this like epidemic, like, source that would end up killing a lot of people at, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can see that outcome and justification being the reason why Snake would eat a bullet necessarily, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, no, like when they did that, like I was like, did they really? Like we don't see it on camera, so it's like one of those things like, okay, like now there's a little bit of a question to me, but it's like, dude, like that was some dark shit. I was like, holy shit, wow, that's
I'm going to.
It's a lot. Yeah.
I'm going to post a picture in our chat, and maybe I can put it up on Christian. Can I put it on the stream as well?
Yeah, sure.
If you don't mind. It's a picture from a trailer of Metal Gear Solid 4. I think one of them before it came out, where Snake's got a gun in his mouth, and we never see that in this game.
Wait.
But
Yeah, we did.
And
we see this exact shot.
Not this shot, because he's in the
Okay.
graveyard.
No.
Yeah,
when he does
with the
this.
graveyard. But I guess like there it
That's
is.
like The Last of Us.
Is it? Oh,
Well,
trailer.
like
misinformation?
marketing and yeah.
Oh, I guess you're right. And then Kojima probably knows a lot about that. I always assume something changed beforehand, but no, you're right.
Sure.
You're right.
Wow.
It's a graphic image.
That's
Yeah,
fucked up.
it's pretty fun. It's pretty
dark.
freaky.
So,
Yeah, bro, it's kind of scary.
but like,
Yeah.
that's where I want to go to, because I was thinking about this before we started recording, right? We were talking about last week, specifically because I was trying to like process thoughts on Raiden. Like, I think you said last week, Omar, that like everyone in this game is a tragic character, kind of. Like, so is Snake, and like Snake never really needed to be, you know, and like he's gone the extra mile in every game he's been in, so like he would have done it again. So I don't know if that's like something I feel bad for him because that's his character, but like because he's an old man who's coughing all the time and like he's like, I'm not long for this world. Like, yeah, I feel like that's why I feel bad for him because it's like, it's too bad he just got old, man. Sorry.
Is it manipulative? Maybe.
Yeah, like is that it?
Like, Kevin brought this up maybe last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, which I hadn't considered at all. But he mentioned Red Dead Redemption 2 and Arthur Morgan in this game. I feel like that is such a better way to do it than this is.
Yeah.
Like that's what I wish this was. I wish it was like a hey, like, and that's what I wish that what he was trying to say to Raiden, like meant. Like, listen, like I have to do this not because I'm Snake, not because, but I want you all to move on. Like I want, like this is at its core, like my fight. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I wish this story was. Like I really wish it was that type of ending. You know what I'm saying? Like and I almost wish that, you know, not as graphic. Like I don't think I necessarily would have wanted him to kill himself in that, you know, vulgar way and stuff like that. Like I don't think I would have wanted that, but like I would have wanted him to kind of just have been already to the, because that's what I thought they were building to with him being microwaved.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, so like at this point, there's no return. Like there's no going back. There's no way that Snake can ever live past these events. Like this is the absolute it. And you know, like what justified like that liquid fight. I was like, this is like his literal like last adrenaline, like his last effort. This is it. You know, like I would have almost wished that like, yeah, okay, make it to the graveyard and like die up against, you know, the boss's grave or whatever. Like that's how I almost wanted it to go, you know, like a last breath type thing, but we get a whole bunch of bullshit. It's like, okay. Like, yeah.
I think it would have genuinely been more sad if it was like a young looking Snake who's like just taken too soon because of what's up with Fox Eye and because of everything he has to do. But like they made him old to like surface level make you feel bad, I think. And honestly, by the end of it, I was kind of tired of the old thing. I don't know if you guys feel differently. I thought it was really cool at first, but like, I don't know.
Did the performance ever start grating on you, or is that still just a me thing?
I thought it was less charming, maybe the last 2 weeks, but like, yeah, by the end, I was just like, yeah, I get it. You're coughing, dude. Like, okay.
Yeah. I feel like there are cases where like I could have used a little bit more emotion with these lines to your hater.
Yeah.
But he's doing that voice, which is like, okay, hard to hear. Not like Metal Gear Solid 1 and 2. But
yeah. So that was a thing I just wanted to throw out there about Old Snake, but
I will say though, it is cool when they I think I'm mostly with you on it. It's a bit wild they do it, but it's cool for that one moment where it's two old men fighting, I think.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That saves it, honestly. Seeing like the two old dudes with like the 6-pack, like beating each other up to the brink of death, I think is amazing and one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. But
cool.
Yeah. Speaking of two old dudes, let's talk about this graveyard.
This fucking sucks.
Okay.
Shouldn't have been the story. Shouldn't have been the story.
So
he's right.
Let's talk about the way it's set up first, because although we're breaking this up, they do cut around between all these scenarios a little bit. I do love the way they introduce this, you know, because we see more stuff with the wedding and all that, and then we get credits, and it's like, wow, so Snake died, and then it's going through the cast, and then it says Big Boss Richard Doyle, and it freezes there. And
now
like,
that's amazing.
Big Boss wasn't in the game. I love that so much.
Literally, I was like, wait, what? Yeah.
And that's why I know the Richard Doyle Big Boss thing so well, I think, is because we were talking about it back when Metal Gear Solid 3. The Fury is the same voice actor. That's Richard Doyle.
Yeah.
And so when you see his name pop up now in Metal Gear, you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Also,
and Richard Doyle's in the Act 1 like opening credits too.
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
when Snake is riding in on the truck, you see all the names of the actors, and Richard Doyle's right there.
Awesome. I'm really glad they went with that guy instead of just doing like 2 haters in one scene.
Me too.
Yeah.
I think that guy kills it.
Yeah. Also, shout out Richard Doyle, Massachusetts native, apparently.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
where's he
I
from?
did a
from?
little Google search. I forget where exactly. It might be Wayland or something, but
What about Arlington?
no, I don't think so. But yeah, so Kevin, seeing the transition there, seeing us cut back to the graveyard, that Snake's still alive, and that big boss reveal, like, what was that for you? Like, did you like that at the moment it clicked?
It was so much shock. I don't know. It was a very similar stream moment of like part 2, the end of that game where I kind of just didn't talk for like 45 minutes. Like I didn't say a fucking word. We're just trying to like really process it. Chat was hyped for me to see that reaction. Yeah, it was shocking, not the way that I wanted to be shocked. It was kind of like, excuse me, like what? There's a lot of crazy shit in Metal Gear for sure, right? This is amongst like probably the biggest like what? Like really? Like that's really big boss for real. And like I kind of got a little inclination like when they showed the disgusting fucking, two eye like looking like the chocolate episode from SpongeBob. Yeah, that whole thing like looking like that. I was like, I wonder if like Kojima is really okay with like portraying Big Boss like that. You know what I'm saying? And like letting him go like that. I was like, is that really Wait, but then who is he really? I forgot who
Solidus.
that.
Solidus, yeah.
Am I the only one who loves
Oh, that's
that?
interesting. That's interesting.
Like I think it's great.
Yeah.
But I also like Solidus a lot.
Sure.
But I think it's awesome.
I love that so much that they tricked him because he's a perfect clone and he already got blown up, so they use him and he's actually out there in the world hiding. I love that so much.
Wow. Yeah, like I think it was at this point where I was like, I think I'm concrete in saying that like this act did not stick a landing that like I like enjoyed. Like I don't know, man. Yeah, it was, and then we get a lot of explanation and it's very hard to follow. And it's there's a lot there. Also we get a lot even from Drebin before this, with him doing the Rat Pack and then his fucking
Lord
Patriot. And I'm like like what? Bro, there's it's okay, this is what I think now is the perfect time to say this, where there was a moment when like I wish we just saw the sun, right? After the gunshot and the credits rolled, right? And we got a Metal Gear game that did not have some crazy bullshit at the end of it. That was just like, hey, Kojima is seeming to have some restraint. Like, hey, like this is a bit of a cohesive end. You know what I'm saying? Even if they wanted to fake out and like they, wanted to have the notion of like the camera not showing Snake getting shot by himself. I mean, also that's very graphic, so why would you show that? But like in a similar vein of like the last lightning bolt in the end of Infamous 2, the good ending, right? Where it's like, okay, is Cole alive? Did that revive Cole? Like, like that's an ongoing theory that's still going to this day. I would have, I think, liked that more. But then again, it's like I should have known. like you know what I'm saying? Like this is my 4th Metal Gear game. It's like, all right, Kev, like there is gonna be a lot of bullshit exposition at the end of the game that they're just gonna throw at you, for better or for worse, and it's definitely for worse. So yeah.
The biggest sin of the Metal Gear franchise,
the naked sin.
In my opinion, the biggest naked sin is Zero. The worst, I think, in my opinion, well, Johnny, of course, but like the worst main character in the series is Zero. There is no way I can buy the dude who was on your radio in Metal Gear Solid 3 is the whole impetus for this whole thing to be happening, to be the head Patriot. That is horrible. There is some baffling story writing decisions in this game in particular, and that's the worst. Like, for him to come out at the end, and for Big Boss to be like, all right, now we can finally set this right and kill Zero. It's like, this character means nothing. Means nothing to me. And they're trying to build him up as like the main antagonist of this whole series. And that just wasn't there. He's the dude that liked James Bond in Metal Gear Solid 3. And now it's just awful. It's terrible.
Does he mean Zero to you?
He means Zero to me. Yes, Omar. Thank you.
But Jack, 0 becomes 1, and 1 becomes 10, and 10 becomes 100. I'm sorry, I kind of interrupted you because I just really wanted to make those references.
No,
oh my god,
that's all I had to say. It's just stupid. It's so dumb.
That bothered
Metal
me
Gear
on
Solid
such
3 should not exist. I'm sad that Metal Gear Solid 3 exists because it had to be integrated into Metal Gear Solid 4, which made it a worse product.
We're not ready to have. We'll probably have this conversation in a few minutes, but I feel like Metal Gear Solid 3 definitely like puts the series in the wrong path.
100%.
Yep.
I think
easy.
But now is this 3's faults now, or is this sins of 4 with the direction they go with it? Like,
it's.
I mean, the majority. Yeah, I think the majority of 4 though, it's mainly 3. I'm looking at as the problem. Like, it's just really here it comes to a head. I think.
I guess so, but I feel like it didn't need to be addressed like this.
Yeah.
And that's probably on 4.
I agree. I actually think it is. I agree with Omar. I think it's probably more 4's fault. But 3 didn't need to exist. Either way, though, like after 3, and they wanted to make a conclusive chapter to Metal Gear Solid, I don't think it should have relied as heavily on Metal Gear Solid 3 as it did.
Yeah.
It should have been more focused, and it was for the majority more focused on Metal Gear Solid 1 and Metal Gear Solid 2, and this being like the conclusive chapter to character arcs from those stories. But I feel like all the stuff from Metal Gear Solid 3 is incredibly shoehorned into this game. And in large part that is to Metal Gear Solid 3's existence. And them wanting to introduce that and conclude that in this game. But I think they did it in such a sloppy way, and I think a large part of that is because of the storytelling in 4, which is just unnecessarily convoluted.
Yeah, I think you laid it out well. I'll say this. I like Big Boss here. Like, I think he's cool. Maybe it's just the performance, but like, I think maybe it's the trench coat also, but like just seeing this old man who like played everybody and he's just this legendary dude, and as much as I dislike him in 3, knowing what he went through, I guess, and then like seeing him as this old man looking back on it and then resting on the boss's grave, like all that kind of stuff, I think worked for me here, and I think it's just because of the performance. Like, I've said this before, that after 3, I remember liking Big Boss a good amount, and this, I think, is an instance of that. I don't know if... Well, I know we were all kind of negative on Naked Snake, but what do we feel about Big Boss here in this scene? Like, aside from the sloppy connections to 3, I guess.
I like him in this scene. I mean, that quote he gives at the end of his life, right? This is good, isn't it? Is one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
But can I ask, like, how was he alive again? Some of this stuff confused me a little bit.
So,
because okay, can I say what I know first?
Yes.
And then, all right, he's died twice. In some ways. So we know he died in Metal Gear 1. We don't know how, but then he comes back in Metal Gear 2, and he dies there. But then I guess his body gets retrieved out, and he's really fucked up. But then they graft other people's bodies onto him. Is that what's happening? And then they put him in a state of eternal slumber with nanomachines until he finally gets waken up after 30 years by
the system coming down, right?
Yeah. Is that what happens?
I think that's what they said. Like the system coming down, was always meant to awaken Big Boss.
So,
okay.
I think I can't fully answer Omar because of future stuff, but
sure.
After Metal Gear 2, Big Boss is retrieved. Like, the Big Boss we see in this scene is retrieved at some point. I think then he's put into that eternal sleep that we learned about earlier. And I believe, like, he ages normally, you know, but at some point after Metal Gear Solid 1, like, Ocelot, Eva, and Naomi wanted to get him out of that thing. And I think because of the issues with GW in MGS2, they were able to get him out and swap out him for Solidus. So since MGS2, he's been alive and well off in the world and hiding, and the body of Solidus was, like, the Patriots were none the wiser because he's an exact clone, so he's just there.
So you think he's been, like, alive and conscious doing stuff since Metal Gear Solid 2?
I believe that's the implication, yeah.
Okay.
And that's why they use
Also,
Solidus' body. So.
Zero would have to be like active and be like, "Yep, that's Big Boss right there in that state," and see that as Solidus. Am I the only one who thinks Zero's like absolutely ridiculous? Like,
No, I think you're so
right.
right.
No, you're right.
I think you're totally right.
When-
Like, yeah,
It's so offensive.
When they blew them out, I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, what the fuck is that?
That's the main antagonist of the series, apparently.
Whoa.
and he shits himself.
Yeah.
Does he really?
Yeah, I think so.
Probably.
No, I think you're really right on that, Jack. Like, it's weird because he really wasn't much of a character before, you know? Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe Kojima just picked him for this game to be that guy because of how good his name was. Like, his name is Zero.
Yeah.
Gotta use that.
I can't think of a good example, but it would be like in the sequel trilogy if Chewbacca was like the main antagonist. It's like he was behind this all. It's
That would've
just
been
like
cool.
it's just so out of left field, and it's from a character we just had little to no information about, and there wasn't even a single tease in Metal Gear Solid 3, and it's just I think it's just really bad storytelling, and I'm surprised like that conversation isn't like the Metal Gear Solid 4 conversation isn't more centered around like all the shoehorn stuff from Metal Gear Solid 3, because that's just like so distracting.
Yeah, I mean, I think that might not be the conversation because people get hung up on long cutscenes is the thing I see all the time, and then people
which
love
isn't
3,
that big of a problem,
you know. So
True.
We talked about this during the Eva scene. People were probably losing their shit when they were like, "Oh, you're telling me Sigint is the Patriot?" Like,
So I actually think this game does a disservice to Metal Gear Solid 3 fans as well. Like, in terms of like the fan service stuff, because I think I've seen people being like, "Man, I can't believe they destroyed my favorite codec team," like that. Like,
did they play another Metal Gear Solid game?
I don't know. It seems
That's
like they
wild.
wouldn't have.
yeah.
But it seems like a game that pleases almost no one in some ways.
Yeah, it's strange. But we do get a bit more insight outside of the Zero stuff, and I'm with both of you. Like, Zero could have not been in this game at all. They could have just said that the Patriots became a thing. I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
And
Like aliens. What if they're aliens?
yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
what if they were actually vampires and that's where Vamp came from?
Now that
And
would
they've been playing the world forever because they've just been alive because they're vampires.
Yeah, like the fact that they've only been around since the 70s kind of bugs me. Like,
Yeah, so like the philosophers, like it was like, okay, the 3 superpowers, they had a meeting one time in probably in like 1910 or the 20s, and then like it, you know, it just like again, at the end of MGS2 when they're like, oh, they've all been dead for how many years? Like over 100, like
Yeah.
Dude, what a great reveal that was.
yeah.
It didn't go anywhere.
Speaking of reveals, we get a bit more insight into what happens with the rest of this game, honestly. And again, it might just be because I loved the performance, but I was enjoying listening to Big Boss talking about all this stuff. He seemed like a cool guy. We learned that... Okay, hold on. Let me make sure this all tracks. Ocelot sacrificed...
Yeah, Christian, good luck.
Thank you.
For real. I'm like, I'm really glad I'm not the host of this because,
Yeah.
like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah,
I would not be able to say half the shit that Christian says. So shout out to Christian.
thank you.
Shout out.
Goddamn. What a king.
I should have taken more notes, but Ocelot sacrificed himself to be liquid through psychotherapy the way that Psycho Mantis was taking over what's her name? And so Ocelot was willing and able, like he made that choice at some point to indoctrinate himself with Liquid's stuff, so they could pull this scheme to destroy Zero's legacy and the Patriots. Because part of that would involve the distraction to get Big Boss out. So I think that's why MGS2 happens with Ocelot and Liquid. That entire thing with Big Shell, that like Ocelot's behind the scenes and then it's actually Liquid, that all happens as a way for the rest of the Big Boss crew, I don't know if they have a name, to get him out of his chamber that he's being kept in by Zero when GW falls into. So the sacrifice of that meant that Ocelot would be in control. Sorry, Liquid would be in control of Ocelot kind of permanently, because he was like laying down his life for Big Boss because he believed him and he's loyal to him. And then at some point, as a security measure, the Patriots got wind of something going on. So Drebin, who was acting for the Patriots, injected Snake with the updated Fox die, which Naomi had her whole thing that she was worried about with. So eventually, Snake would be able to kill Big Boss with Fox die that the Patriots created. Because Zero, maybe not Zero, like, because, you know, he's just in a wheelchair, but like the legacy of Zero through the AI was like, hey, as a security measure, inject Solid Snake with a new Fox die that is coded to Big Boss in case anything ever happens. And when Drebin injected him earlier in the game, that's what that was, and that's where Naomi was like, where's this new Fox die from? That was that. So both Zero, the Patriots AI version of Zero, and Big Boss are cut off by the end of this game because they were outsmarting each other and they were using Snake. So by the end, Big Boss kills Zero, and Zero is the reason that Big Boss dies. So their entire conflict that's been pointless all this time caused all this stuff in 4. All this stuff over the generations is ended by the end of this game through Solid Snake's actions.
This whole scene did not need to exist.
Dude, oh my god. Wow. Yeah. Like, I'm trying so hard to understand.
Oh, also,
I'm trying so hard.
That's why Eva died. So the Fox die was, it wasn't just coded to Big Boss. The Fox die that was injected from the Patriots via Drebin was coded to the Big Boss crew. So Eva and Big Boss, I don't think they knew Naomi was working with them, so that's why she died the way she died. But the others. Oh, and Ocelot.
Question about Eva.
Yes.
When she's crying, when Big Boss's body, it's actually Solidus's body, is going and burning in Act 3, does she know it's Solidus is then?
I think so.
Okay.
And that's what I was going to bring that up before, too, because I remembered the thing about Solidus, and I think there was a discussion of, like, why the hell did she do that? I think she was just committing to it so nobody would catch wind. I think that's what
You don't think
was.
she loved Solidus because that was another son of hers?
Maybe, but
Maybe.
it seemed like she was more, you know.
Just playing a bit.
Yeah.
She's good at that.
Yeah. That's because, like, when that happened, I was like, I see what you're doing. So I that might have just been a headcanon thing, but I think she was just committing so nobody was suspicious at all.
Damn, she didn't need to act that hard. Oh my god.
I know. Well,
She
I mean,
lost
like,
it.
she probably knew she was dying anyway.
No, honestly, Christian, I like this theory a lot. I think you're right.
All right.
I think you're right.
So.
When I first played this game in high school, I thought I was dumb for not understanding the story. But now I'm realizing I don't think I'm dumb. I just think the game just does not convey its story in the best possible way. Kojima loves twists and turns, as we've all realized. But I don't think that should be employed at the sacrifice of telling a good story. Because I feel like there could be an easy to understand story somewhere within this game, but it was purposefully conveyed in a way to confuse audiences. And I just don't think that's a really good way. And it was needless. Like there are some projects and movies and books and TV shows or whatever that are meant to be confusing, but they're done in a good way. Inception, in a way, I guess, is an example. But this just didn't need to be confusing. It could have been much more straightforward. And it's just bizarre that it was told in this way and with such bizarre storytelling techniques, like a character going on for like 5 minutes about something, or actual PowerPoint presentations being shown. Just absolutely bizarre. And I'm realizing that I don't think I was dumb in the first place. I think this story was just told in just a completely bonkers way.
Yeah. And to be fair, I agree. And I think the only reason that it tracks for me is because I'm writing it down and I'm recounting it. You know,
Yeah.
like saying it out loud after I'm reading an abridged thing that I wrote down in my notes, which are not very extensive, like very, very quick jots. I think I'm just like piecing it together in a way that makes it make sense. But I agree with you. I think it could, like, if I could have done that, I think they could have as well and made it like digestible. I think that's why it makes a bit more sense in our conversation, because I'm not reading the script, you know? Like, so. Do we like his death scene?
Yeah.
I do, a lot.
Again, that quote, "This is good, isn't it? Too good. Too good."
Similar to what you said, Omar, about hating, like, almost being perfect and, like, hating that they do the thing with Ocelot. I genuinely thought...
Is it this?
Big Boss saluting, struggling to salute. I was like, that's perfect. It's so good. Because, like, I don't like 3, but the end, I think, is good enough. And this is just so... They're nailing it, and then it's like, mash, 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 mash. It's like, oh...
Right, yeah.
Fine. Okay.
You don't gotta mash.
I know I don't.
But I think we have to... I think it's a valid criticism, though. I know you don't have to do it, but I think that it's there. It is that thing about trusting the player or not. Like, it's...
Because there were definitely times where I didn't, but I knew what it was, and the fact that I knew what it was going to be, I was like, I might as fucking well, because I know what it is. Like,
yeah, and actually, it incentivizes you to mash them every time, going by the end screen. So I think it's a problem. I think it's a real problem.
Yeah. I get it, but I don't think it's that big of a problem.
Yeah, I don't think
like I understand. I understand it being distracting, but at the end of the day, I do think it is optional.
Yeah, I think it only ruins a couple moments. And
sure, I agree.
Yeah,
there are points where it's like, this is not needed.
Even though it is optional, like, just like knowing that I'm gonna see that GIF that Kevin was talking about, like,
yeah, I
was like, oh, yeah, had something.
You know what I think at the root of it is? I think it's like when we were podcasting, you know, about like MGS2 and stuff like that, and like even parts of like MGS3, like there were those callbacks that we were able to discern and recount naturally, right? And like that was like the fun in that, as opposed to this where it's literally shoved in your face. Even though I'm still on the side of Jack, where like I don't think it's like necessarily like a huge detriment to the game, but I do see how it's kind of like a little bit like handholdy and like yes, when fucking Big Boss does that salute, like that's an obvious callback that does not require the X thing, but like I don't know, like I'm a little bit like I see both sides like Chanel, you know what I'm saying, but like I do kind of miss the natural way of like, oh right, like that was referring to this, like that's a really cool thing to do, as opposed to just having it just shoved in my face, you know, a little bit.
I'm not saying this like ruins the game, but I just feel like this is like, you know, with the way this game is structured around being your ultimate love letter to Metal Gear, like this is one example where it really wants you to notice that, like, hey, see it, like.
As much as I think this scene has some really like things I really like about it, and there's obviously many problems. I do love the way it's set up, you know, and I do like that there's that little tease that somebody's been visiting the boss's grave before we get the fake out credits, right? Like, you see Snake there, and he walks up, and it says, memory of a Patriot, and there's a fresh thing of flowers there. I'm like, oh, who would be visiting the boss? Who even knows that that's the boss's grave? I do enjoy that, and I'm with you, Omar. I think maybe, again, they're getting me because he's an old guy, but, like, Big Boss's, you know, final moments. I like seeing that guy that we kind of all hated came to this point where he's, like, not self-absorbed anymore and realizes it's his time and it's beyond his era, and he's treating Snake like a son, and he's like, you know what? Live what's left of you. Because I think, Kevin, what you were saying before is absolutely valid of, like, Snake should probably be dead, but, like, I imagine he has, like, still, like, less than a year left after everything. Like, I think it's similar to MGS1, where they're like, oh, you can live as long as you want to before the fox die breaks your will or something like that. Like, I think that's the same thing here.
As long as someone makes me make a sequel, who knows?
Yeah.
That's why I like what you were saying, Christian, of how we saw Naked Snake and we all didn't like him, and now we see him at this point and there's a bit of an arc for him. Mm-hmm. That's why I didn't necessarily like the scene, because I didn't care about that character, and this is one of those instances of it not feeling earned, because the last time we saw Naked Snake, he just started to turn. He just started to, like, realize what happened throughout the course of Metal Gear Solid 3 with what happened with the boss, and, like, you get the sense that he has, like, started to turn a new page, but we haven't seen him since that point, and now he's, like, apparently this wise sage giving all this advice to Snake, and I'm like, I just don't buy it. I just don't buy any character from Metal Gear Solid 3.
I'm exactly with Jack. Here, where it's like, I think it's okay to think that Big Boss is cool in this scene, because, like, he is cool just look at him just purely in this scene alone, right? But, like, him, like this character being Big Boss, it just doesn't check out, because, like, I haven't had a lot of time to experience this Big Boss, which is radically different than Naked Snake. Sure. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I'm totally with Jack here, where it's like, that's why, like, I was so conflicted, like, when I was shot, because, like, as he kept talking, it was like, I know visually, and, like, I know you are Big Boss, but, like, at the same coin, I'm supposed to feel a lot about this big reveal, but I only feel the big reveal because I know the legend of Big Boss, and not necessarily the person to that full extent. Like, I know Solid Snake, right? Like I was over the moon when I saw Solid Snake in MGS2 quickly go up the ladder, right? Because I just knew that iconic object, because, like, yeah, like, that's my boy Solid Snake. Like, what's good? Like, here, I don't know this Big Boss necessarily. You know what I'm saying? So the reveal just doesn't really work that crazy. Yeah. It was just purely shocked just because of the legend Big Boss is right in front of me.
Sure.
You know? Yeah.
I think I like the idea of filling in the gap myself, I suppose, here. Whereas it's like, you know, obviously I'm with you guys, like, during Metal Gear Solid 3, the way Big Boss is giving out advice in this one is not like Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 3. This is more like a Solid Snake kind of advice stuff. But you know, I think that game, and the fact that those two guys, well, forget Zero, but, like, he handled or took the wrong lessons from the boss and got really fucked up trying to make that world happen. I think I can imagine a way where this Big Boss becomes this guy. And it's not like I'm crying for him here, but I think it's a cool reveal.
Yeah, I'm with you, Omar. Like, I can see that trajectory, right? Because even, and I think Jackie mentioned this, like, the end of MGS3 is, like, the very beginning of Big Boss. Like, he's not really Big Boss that entire game. He's Naked Snake. And I do think there's a division there, at least enough to the point where we know from MGS1 the legend of this guy. We know he was the villain of Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2. He was the big boss. Like, to see the end of MGS3, him becoming Big Boss, this guy who's supposed to be fighting for the United States and becoming this, like, altruistic whatever, knowing he falls to that point, knowing he gets lost from what his intent was, that's already a jump that we don't really explore much. So I think because I made that jump, I am more okay making the jump of like, you know, he aged another 20 years, had a lot of time to thank to himself, you know, in those years in between, and he probably got humbled, and he's an old man now, and he knows he's gonna die. So I think there was enough there that I was cool with it, and I think it's also an issue of like, it is a little hard to separate other stuff about Big Boss slightly, but I think trying to cut all that stuff out aside, like, I do think this scene here, and probably a lot of it is the performance, works for me, for his character, in a way that even in some aspects kind of makes me enjoy the ending of 3 a little more, because I think the payoff here is like good, but I definitely would have liked to see more before we played 4, I think, from Big Boss, to really make that hit harder like we want it to. I still like it though, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
all the
sorry,
go ahead,
go
Jack.
for it, Omar.
Okay, I was gonna make a stupid joke about it. All the character development you need for Big Boss is that one credit song at Metal Gear Solid 3. Son, you've got a way to fall.
Sure.
It's right here. That's it. Sorry, Jack, you go ahead.
For like, I hear what you guys are saying, and for me at least, there's definitely some picking and choosing with like, for me, being okay with seeing Raiden's jump, because I am okay with that, and for
Very
me,
true.
like what Omar said, it is like me filling in the gaps and being like, I can understand the regression of Raiden, but for me, it is. I hear what you guys are saying, like filling in the gaps for Big Boss, and it does make sense the way you guys describe it. I just can't empathize with Big Boss, because we just don't. We get like the inkling of where he would probably end up at the end of Metal Gear Solid 3 at the very last minute, but we just don't. We don't see his character, and for me, in my personal opinion, I kind of think Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2, the MSX games, are like questionably canon in my head, at least. I know they are fully canon, but like Metal Gear Solid, I feel, is the canon we're working with, and they sort of pick and choose stuff from Metal Gear Solid. But yeah, it just, for me, Big Boss didn't work here.
I will say, like, I think the fact that he's alive is kind of fucked up. Like, I think that's a crazy reveal. Like, and I'm not really sure if I'm into that at all. I think it's another case where there's Kojima trying to make the definitive conclusion to Metal Gear, and it's like, bring up another thread just to wrap it up. Like, it was already kind of wrapped up. Like,
yeah. And there's also just no stakes in this series. I realized in this, like, is like there's only a select few characters that actually face like repercussions in terms of like death, and Snake is not one of them, even though like the trajectory of this game was putting him on that path. And it's just, yeah, there's some silliness to this game, and I was worried about playing Metal Gear Solid 4, and my worst fears have been realized, but I still love this game. I still love this game.
I still really love this game, and like I think this is, yeah, it's I never thought we would be on the other side of this, me saying that, yeah, like I can't believe this game made me really love Metal Gear Solid 1, like in a very deep way. You know what I'm saying? Like, who would have thought? Who would have thought? So I think like, fuck. If we're like separating that notion, I think this is still my favorite Metal Gear so far, for sure. Just I just think like they just do so many good things in the first 4 acts, and then the 5th act just kind of just taints a lot of it. You know, it just muddies the waters a lot, that I just can't ignore. And I think above all else, like I just wish that this game, like when Naomi says, "Hey, you're on the time clock," I wish it was just a like an Arthur Morgan type scenario. I really wish it was that, where you know we see Snake come to terms with this, and this is essentially like for like like I would have loved it where, you know, in his head he's trying to make everyone else around him feel that this is just a big mission, right? That we're all dealing with this evil again, right? But like this is just another mission, but to him it's the last mission. It's the last cigarette. You know, like I wish internally like that was what it was. And it kind of just wasn't, because like even like that conversation with like him and Alakon at the very very end post the credit scene, like it's like I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think
I wish it was different. Yeah.
I think something 4 has an issue with is it like doesn't know, not its tone, but like it just feels like there's redundancies a lot in like almost every aspect that's not gameplay related, so, and it's funny, Kevin, because like what you're saying, they kind of leave it there. They get to that point, kind of, like this is his final mission, and his final mission is to end himself, and they cut there, and then it is just the epilogue, the debriefing of the epilogue, which is the stuff with Big Boss. Like they do give another title sequence for a debriefing, and that's when Big Boss is revealed. So like up to that point, before we get the surprise, here's Big Boss, when credits are rolling, we do leave off on that point really, where like, yeah, this was a big mission. Snake gave a lot of people advice, and then in the end, he decided, he was like, all right, it's my time, and I'm gonna cause an epidemic, so I'm just gonna kill myself.
Exactly. Like, yeah, that's why. Yeah, like that just echoes the whole thing of like, yeah, I wish they just would have just stopped there.
Yeah.
Like just that is the arc, and like, yeah, it is very gruesome to have your main character kill himself, right? But like, I think they could have. I think they had enough justification there for it to make sense and not be so controversial, not be so like, brutal in a way. Yeah. Like I think there's enough reasoning there to have Snake kill himself.
Sure.
Which is very dark for sure. Very, very, very dark. But
they didn't even need to do that. They could have they had the perfect out with the microwave, the perfect out, and that would have been like sacrificial. Lay the life on the line, where Raiden's like, let me do this. He's like, no, I have the opportunity to end this all in like the best case scenario. He could have just gone through the microwave, got rid of GW, and that'd be it. I feel like that probably would the better option without him offing himself in.
And maybe instead of a wedding, we have a funeral.
Sure.
Yeah, like it's like how when they were filming Endgame, they called the Iron Man, spoilers, the Iron Man funeral. Yes, sorry, Omar. The Iron Man the Iron Man funeral, they called it the wedding scene. Yeah, Kevin, you're onto something.
You're right, they did do that. Yeah, I forgot.
Are you guys talking about Snake like should have died earlier or something?
He should have died in the microwave.
Yeah, Kevin was talking about,
he should have been
the Arthur Morgan
at 30 seconds, you know what I'm saying? Time cook, 2.5 minutes.
Sure.
Yes.
And I brought up how we kind of get there, before the fake credits, and that's where they could have left it off. Like, we brought up Lord of the Rings earlier. When people joke on movies having Lord of the Rings endings, when I think of games, I think of this. This is the one I think of, among others. But
I think another point because Christian, you were saying earlier, like you didn't understand if Snake needed to be old here or like the whole point of that, I guess. The whole like epidemic thing was bizarre to me as well. Like he's a ticking time bomb. Like that seemed like another case where it was just like another finality for whatever reason of it. Like
because it was like a second timer.
Yeah,
he was gonna die in like 6 months or whatever, and then Naomi was like, actually, it's 3 months. It's like that's not necessary. Like, but okay.
And then at the end of it, it's not even a threat anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also if he had 6 months because of the aging process, like that's not stopped. He's still gonna die.
Isn't that still? Isn't that still a thing?
So like that's why
that's a good point too.
That's why his death thing, I think, doesn't rub me the wrong way too much. Like I think it definitely would have been stronger if it was a sacrifice, right? But like, dude's still gonna die in like a matter of weeks. So like, if they just want to give him a peaceful thing because he's sacrificed so much and he's been used so much, it's like, yeah, why not? He's gonna be dead anyway. Like almost immediately. Like check your watch. He's probably dead by now. Like it didn't make me that wasn't a deal breaker for me, I think.
Do we know why they can't cyborg him?
I don't know.
Oh, it's a good question.
Okay.
Maybe like
I can't
probably nano machines.
Yeah. Of course. I can't help but now think like, okay, Metal Gear Solid 5, where and when?
Otacon. It's finally time. Otacon game.
Oh, I fucking
It's a
yo,
dad
let's
simulator.
go.
Him and Sonny.
Let's go.
Go on
Let's
vacation.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Also,
Sony
yeah,
game.
who was that? Who was that kid?
It was just some
Just
kid.
some guy.
Just
It's
a
like the
kid.
broom kid in Last
Yeah, I was
Jedi.
just gonna say
some guy.
some kid.
Cool. Fuck it. Why not? Let's just bring him in. Yeah, like that. I was like, okay, is he from an earlier point? Was he
No, it's just a
in
kid.
the market
It's
where
just-
Can I give him the Mark III Otacon?
Yeah, what the fuck? I would have a huge
Like, no.
problem with that.
You can't give
Otacon's
him
like,
the Mark
this is
III.
millions of dollars of technology.
Yeah, what the fuck is wrong with you? No,
No.
absolutely not.
This is not a toy.
Give him the
kill
Mark III.
people with this
How
thing.
dare you? I killed people with this thing.
I destroyed the whole system with this thing. No.
This is history.
If anything, this
Can I
should be in
give
a
him-
museum.
Yeah.
This is
For
just
real.
regular-
Can I give him the Mark III?
One
Oh, man.
thing I noticed that I don't know if this was it's just something I picked up on. So where Snake goes to do the deed, right in the graveyard.
Okay.
The grave he's at, is that Frank Yeager's?
Oh, I don't know.
I thought, because there's two graves, right? There's the boss's grave with flowers next to it.
Yeah.
And then he's in front of a different grave. I
Yes.
thought that was the grave of Big Boss. Because wouldn't that
Yeah, that
make sense?
That's what I thought too.
For that grave to be next to the boss's?
I don't know
That's
why
what I
he'd go
totally
there
thought.
though. Like, what significance does that have to him? Like, I thought he was going because the year Big Boss would have been dead. It said 1999. Is that not also when Frank Yeager was presumed dead and buried?
shit.
Because I don't know if Big Boss like would be buried in this graveyard that seems like it's paying respect to like American soldiers when Big Boss was this no frontier military guy, you know.
I'm going to Google this.
Okay, because it said
Was Frank
19XX
Yeager?
99. I don't know.
Because he was like, wasn't he a Zimbabwe
Maybe?
military guy? I don't know. He's just a mercenary, right? This game's about mercenaries.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. I just didn't know who.
Well,
else.
would it make sense for the boss to be? Well, okay, they don't say it's the boss though,
Yeah, it's a
right?
Patriot. Yeah,
But-
Yeah.
Right.
because they owe that to her, right? Because they're like, hey, yeah, she kind of screwed herself over, so we'll just do this.
Hold on.
Because I don't know who else it would be.
I think it is Big Boss's grave.
Okay,
Interesting.
interesting.
Let me.
It is weird that Snake cares, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't make sense.
yeah. Because then when Big Boss is alive, he's gonna shoot him. Like,
The Metal Gear fandom wiki of Naked Sin shows the image of Snake about to yeet himself, and the image caption is "Solid Snake prepares to commit suicide at the grave of Big Boss."
Is it weird during that scene that it's like it's Big Boss telling you basically everything Naomi wanted to tell you? Like, why not just keep Naomi alive until that point and just have her tell me that beforehand? I don't know.
It's so wild to me, bro. It's so wild to me, man. That it's just like damn. Because then like I do have a theory as to what Metal Gear Solid 5 is now.
do you want to save that because we can do the wrap up now?
Yeah, I think we're winding down.
Okay, that's fine. That's
I was
fine.
gonna say I want to rank this thing.
Yeah.
But we still have code names to get there.
Yes.
True.
So there was. Do you want to talk about the postcard thing at the end? Because I have one little funny thing that I want to say about
Walked
it.
out during that. Did it have some egg stuff? Or was it-
No.
Yeah, there were 3
Okay.
eggs. There were
All right.
eventually 3 eggs.
Oh yeah. But there was a line Otacon said, "You're no longer a prisoner of fate." Again, I thought of Metal Gear Solid 2 because this maybe was the end of Solid Snake's story, and I wrote that no remake. Actually, no more. I don't want that because you're gonna put Snake in this endless loop. But okay. Do we want to run through the title screens now?
yeah, sure.
Okay. Should we save Omar's for last because you have the fucked up thing?
Mine is fucked. Especially on Eid, it's a fucked up name I got. I'll tell you right now.
Oh my god, I forgot.
Jeez.
Happy Eid.
Eid
Happy
Mubarak.
I'm sorry. Eid Mubarak, my boy. Hell yeah, bro. Shout out.
Kevin.
Oh, I'm going first. I'm sorry. I did not hear my name. I'm sorry. My bad. You want like the full list?
Yeah, playtime,
Okay,
everything, driving
cool.
points, whatever you got.
Playtime 13 hours, 35 minutes, and 59 seconds. I had 1 continue. I had 49 alert phases. I had 168 kills. A lot of those were probably from the end.
Sure.
Act 5, to be honest. Recovery items used, 9. Weapon types procured, 35. Flashbacks watched, 208. Jesus Christ, there's a lot of flashbacks in this game. God damn, I didn't realize it was in the 200s. Special items used, none. Not sure how that happened, but I did not use any special items. Let's see here. I don't think we need to go over Drebin points and all that. So my yeah. Okay. All right. My total bonus is 19,790 Drebin points. My current Drebin points was 176,774 Drebin points, and my title is Scorpion.
Continuing Scorpion, very nice.
Yes, sir. We back, baby.
And you played on
very easy.
Very easy. Okay.
Your playtime was 13 hours, you said?
Yes, sir.
Not bad.
Yeah, man. Kind of. Yeah, I thought it'd be longer than that because like it was saying like 18 on how long to be, like 19. I was like, oh shit, but no. 13.
I mean, I think it counts cutscene time too, right? Or does it count?
It has to
cut.
So. I feel like it has to for sure.
That's crazy. That game's shorter than I thought it was.
I can go back and look in the stream count while.
No, I believe you.
Theirs, but yeah, no, like I mean, like I'm just curious to myself, like if it's counting. Looks like it's counting like total time, you know.
Sure. I'll run through mine because I have a boring one. My playtime was 15 hours, 26 minutes, 41 seconds. I continued 10 times. I alert 42 times. I killed 121 people. I used recovery items 37 times. Weapons procured 35. Flashbacks 159, so I did have some restraint. Special item not used. Current Drebin points 235,634. I got the title of Scorpion, so returning to Scorpion from. I think I had Scorpion before, so Kevin, we're Scorpion Bros now.
Brother.
And on the post screen, it like gives you a description. So for Kevin and I. Scorpion is awarded to expert soldiers who neutralize the smallest number of enemies who were rarely spotted and died only a few times. And I played on Naked Normal. So, Jack.
Sure. My total playtime was 17 hours in 16 minutes, 46 seconds. I continued 3 times. I entered alert phase 44 times. I killed 227 people. I used recovery items 57 times. I procured 51 weapon types. I watched 212 flashbacks. I was upset I didn't get the trophy for watching all of them. I did not use any special items. I had a bonus of 34,490 Drebin points. Currently have 237,382 Drebin points. And I confer the title of Eagle. And the Eagle title is a title reward awarded to experienced weapon handlers who racked up their headshot count, which confuses me because I use a lot of trank guns, but I guess I also shot people in that.
Nice. You actually evolved though. You got a bird into a better bird.
Yeah, that's the Pokemon evolution. So really happy about that one.
Yeah, love to see it.
Very nice. Omar, let's hear what you got.
All right. Total playtime, 21 hours and 26 minutes.
Whoa.
I kept getting up. I was pausing and getting cereal, so forgive me.
Okay.
Continues, 16. Alert phases, 62. Kills, 212. Recovery items, 42. Weapon types, 30. Flashbacks watched, 200. Special items used, not used. Total bonus, 25,000. Current Drebin points, 175,577. I confer the title of. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready for this?
Hell yeah, I was trapped in, baby.
Oink oink, motherfuckers! I'm a pig.
Jesus Christ!
Seriously, it says fucking pig. It's Eid. You know, it's the worst animal you can fucking get. Kojima's a bastard. The reasoning for pig is that I died a lot and used a lot of health items.
Oh my god.
It's
So-
haram. It's haram.
I mean,
It's haram. We can't be a pig.
absolutely not.
Oh man.
That is a
What
horrible.
a shame.
Damn.
Thank you.
Wow. Oh my. I
Do you just want
like
to
to
pick a new
express
code
my
name?
apologies.
Nah, I have to roll with it.
All right.
I'm a pig for life.
Damn, bro.
For lifers. I'm sorry.
Wait,
Jesus Christ.
hold on. Now that I'm thinking of it, do we get new code names or is this the end?
Well, if you guys don't play through Peace Walker,
Fuck,
I
maybe I
don't
gotta
think
play
they
Peace
do.
Walker.
yeah.
Wait, there's no codenames in MGS5?
Well, we're considering doing like a movie watch instead of a
No,
playthrough.
I
Or
mean,
I'm gonna
like-
play through it, but
like I don't think there's code names in 5. I don't think you get one.
Are you serious?
I'm pretty sure.
well, you kind of do.
Oh, yeah, but like, there's no cool thing like this, you know? Like,
Yeah.
So it's either what we get here if we watch Peace Walker. This is our final code name. If we play Peace Walker, we have one more shot.
Ground Zeroes, maybe.
Do you get one in Ground
Is it-
Zeroes?
I think you
There might be the rank screen, right? The rank screen might give you
but
something
I-
at the end
I
of that
thought
mission.
you just got a letter ranking because I played a little Ground Zeroes recently.
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see.
Well, I'd rather go by letter than pig, probably. So if you wouldn't mind.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like, I've made the decision. I am going to play Peace Walker offline, right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be streaming it. We're just gonna, it's all good. Having Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the channel, that's good enough.
Yeah.
Good enough. So.
And Rising soon. I hope you consider.
No, like
I mean that.
I'll play Rise. Do you want me to stream Rising? Like,
No, you don't have. Well, I
there's
think
some
it's a good.
moments-
Actually, I think it's a
There's-
great stream
there's-
game. I think it's a
it's
great
like-
stream game.
It's like there's some
Like-
moments. Okay, if like
Yeah.
there's some moments, and all right, cool, yeah, maybe we will. Yeah, fuck, why not?
All right, cool.
So, we have our new names. It is time to rank Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots. Do we want to do the individual ranking first? Because I think as it stands right now, for the group ranking, it is
Yeah, we haven't had any arguments on that
no.
before.
Mhm.
First place is Metal Gear Solid 2. Second place is Metal Gear Solid. Third place is Snake Eater.
Mhm.
Do we want to do individuals first for the updated ones and then figure out where to go from there?
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay, well, let's just go in the clockwise. So, Jack, what's your ranking right now?
Okay. So, my bottom would be Metal Gear Solid 3. Still. What are we doing? 4 now? Okay. My third then would be. I'm gonna say this now. I'm gonna say it now. I think it'll be Metal Gear Solid 1. And I know that sounds like heresy because it sounds like I just shit on Metal Gear Solid 4 for the past however many hours we just podcasted for. But my number 2 would be Metal Gear Solid 4 because I still love this game and I think it has some great bones. It just has some very rotten meat on them, I think. And I think number 1 would be Metal Gear Solid 2, which was flipped for me. It used to be 4 and 2, but I think 2 is probably the clear best game in the series.
Omar, let's hear your ranking.
Sure, I'll go from my favorite to least favorite, I guess. I think Metal Gear Solid 2, number 1. Game's too good. Metal Gear Solid 1 as number 2. That game is also too good. Now, this is tricky for spot number 3. It feels fucked up to say it, but I think Kevin's looking like he's fucked up. I'm sorry, Kevin.
Really?
I might say it. So
Oh my
I was
God.
alluding this to a little bit with Jack's conversation earlier. Like, I think Metal Gear Solid 3 puts the series in the worst place, like in a bad path. But I think 4 is the one that really gives me the answers I don't want. I think it's 4's fault rather than 3 where it ends up, I guess. So I think my third favorite is Metal Gear Solid 3, and my least favorite is Metal Gear Solid 4. And that's not to say I hate Metal Gear Solid 4, because for real, like, this game was pretty, like,
Yeah.
honestly influential on me when I first played it when I was like 10. I think it made me get into movies, because the way you, like, watch the cutscenes is so crazy. But a lot of it doesn't quite hold up for me at this point.
Fair
But
enough.
shout outs to Metal Gear Solid 4.
This is interesting. So, for me, I have 4th place is Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. third place is MGS4. Second place is Metal Gear Solid, because I think that game is perfect. And then Metal Gear Solid 2 is the best. It's also perfect, but it's just better. So that's where I'm at.
That's a solid list. I knew that was going to be your list, Christian. I knew it.
That was very close to being my list too, to be honest. But I'm an idiot.
So Kevin, I think you might have spoiled yours a little earlier, but let's hear what your full ranking is.
Yeah, no, mine's is really hard. I don't know, guys. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna write it down. I'm just gonna say it. Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh man. Okay, so I think it's.
Your list is your list. We'll get to the.
You're right. You're right.
But is your list is your
You're
list.
right, King. Okay,
Absolutely.
I think. Okay, this is. I think a very different list than everyone, and I'm glad that we all have different lists. Like I'm actually happy about that. But top to bottom, best to worst. I think it's Metal Gear Solid 4, Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 2, and then Metal Gear Solid 3. But I know there's so many holes that I can poke in this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I really did enjoy literally all the 4 acts in Metal Gear Solid 4. You know? Yeah, okay, the third act wasn't the most entertaining act, right? Like, that one, not the greatest, but like, I did love how this game opens. I love the notion of having a stealth mission in the middle of battlefield. I love that. I love, of course, going back to Shadow of Moses. I thought that was a really, really cool thing they did. And just going back to that, I think really helped me like MGS1 a lot more. You know what I'm saying? Is that fair, right? Because, like, how does that even make sense, really, to have another game have, make... like one game making another game look better, right? Like that's kind of a thing that I can see people poking holes with, but and I think what is that 1 and 2 are so close to me. Like so close. So like it's there's 1, 2, and then a long like think of the ladder scene. So like there's 4, 1, 2, and then the ladder, and then MGS3, you know, for me.
Kevin, because I have a bad memory, did 1 move up in your personal ranking since last time? Because I don't remember.
1 did move up.
Okay.
1 did move up. Yeah. One did move up. Because I think before it was 2, 1, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's 1, 2, 3.
I just want
Yeah. Which, it's not fair. Because Metal Gear Solid 2 is a very good... It's a very, very good game. I liked it. I liked it a lot. And, I mean, Metal Gear Solid 2 does not have the control problems that MGS1 has. You know? Like, that's another thing. So it's like, damn, 1 and 2 almost can flip, depending on the day.
Sure.
To be honest.
My justification for putting 4 where it was, because I do think 4 plays very well, right? For how frequently playing 4, I was mainly thinking, like, wow, Metal Gear Solid 1 is a great game. For how often I was thinking, because 2 to some extent also, but for how often I thought that about the first game, I can't put it higher than Metal Gear Solid 1 on my own list. That's why I put it 3rd.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Christian, I feel like you have the most sensible list, and I feel like your list is what our total list is going to look like.
Yeah, because, Jack, you and I, do you have yours at 2nd?
Yes, but I, like, it's, Metal Gear Solid 4 is number 2 for me below Metal Gear Solid 2, but as I was playing through Act 5, I was like, oh man, I might like Metal Gear Solid 1. It's one of those things where it's like, oh man, I got to rethink a lot of things. Right now I'm putting it at the number 2 spot. But historically, like in my top 50, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 4 were like neck and neck, and 4 was above 2. But yeah, I think I like Metal Gear Solid 2 more than 4.
Okay.
And then I might like Metal Gear Solid more than Metal Gear Solid 4, but not right now. Can't
sure, yeah, because like Metal Gear Solid 1 for the longest time was my favorite, and I recognize 2 is a better game. The way like I recognize Dark Knight Begins, right? But like,
yeah,
I just love.
You recognize that?
Oh, Dark Knight I know is a better movie than Begins, but
I never knew you recognized.
Yeah, Rises, Dark Knight Rises. Yeah.
Okay.
When am I talking? What did I say? Rises?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's what you meant.
Fucking with you. I couldn't allow it.
But
why are we talking about that series so much today?
I don't know. They're good movies.
So good.
Some of the best.
Oh, they're incredible.
But like, 1 I just think is like I genuinely love a lot. Like the way that Jack, you're talking about, you have like nostalgia for 1 or 4, and like you love 4 so much. Like I recognize 1 has faults, but I don't care. Like it's just perfect to me. So like I would be fine if 4 was either 3rd or 4th right now. But and I know Omar is fine if it's 4th. Are you okay if it's 3rd? Above
Yeah, absolutely. The thing with even my personal ranking might change there, but just the thing with 3 and 4 is like I think they're both problems, but I think 3 puts it on that path, but I think 4 is the one that just goes the wrong way every possible way it can for some of those answers for me.
Yeah, it's like similar to like not trying to open up a can of worms, whatever. I'm not the biggest fan of Last Jedi, right? But I almost feel like Rise of Skywalker is worse for trying to quote unquote course correct Last Jedi when I feel like it should have just went with it. You know, hey, this is what it is. Yeah. This is what happens. It's here. Just go off that as opposed to trying to like retroactively like patch it. I think that made it worse than it would have just went along with it. You know what I'm saying? So I can see definitely like, you know, when Metal Gear Solid 4 like brings up random shit like, yeah, let's make Zero the big baddie of the entire game. It's like that was a choice that was not set in motion in Metal Gear Solid 3. So you just did that just to make Metal Gear Solid 3 matter more.
Right.
You know, and it's like you didn't have to do that. You know? Yeah.
My vote would be to cast Metal Gear Solid 4 in the number 3 spot below because we have 2, 1, 3, right?
Yeah, that's how it stands.
As of now. So I think I would bump 3 to 4, the 4 spot, and I would put Metal Gear Solid 4 below Metal Gear Solid 1. Because I think Metal Gear Solid 1, of any of these games, front to back, pardon the pun, is the most solid experience of the entire Metal Gear games. Like, I feel like you can just sit through that and really get the gist of the game while also experiencing some really great gameplay that I think has certainly aged, but there are a lot of, not gimmicks, but like there's a lot of charm to that game. And I think it is one of the more charming and like one of the more solid experiences of the Metal Gear games. So I would put 4 below 1, and I think 2 is pretty much untouchable. But we also got Metal Gear Solid 5 coming up, so we'll see.
Yeah.
No.
I'm.
I love 5. No, to be fair.
I'm cool with that, Jack. I'm thinking of it the same way, I think. But Kevin, do you have any words to say about trying to get it into 2nd, or do you think are you okay with 3rd?
Like I think because if we're having like the group list be 2, 1, 4, 3, right? The only difference is just I think I like appreciated a lot more about like what Metal Gear Solid 4 did. Even though I know inherently that like Metal Gear Solid 2 is a great game, right? Like through and through, right? And like yeah, like there is some the quote unquote BS at the end. I think the BS at the end is worse in Metal Gear Solid 4 than Metal Gear Solid 2. Just off of just trying to remember it and everything, I think it's worse than Metal Gear Solid 4, to be honest. And they make like way bigger leaps that are like, what the fuck? Like, you know, that end up being bad. So if the master list is 2, 1, 4, 3, I am down with that. Yeah. I think that is more probably objectively correct than my list, where I just have 2 and 4 flipped. Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
All right. Well, the current ranking for the panel is Metal Gear Solid 2.
Wait, can I interrupt you?
Yes.
So Metal Gear Solid 3 does try to do its own thing.
Don't even get me started with this. Come on.
Okay, I'm sorry, Christian, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I don't think we heard Omar's justification.
Oh shit, yeah, we
kind of did. It's just
I can't.
Look. What? Go ahead.
It just sound like, to me, like the best thing about Metal Gear Solid 3 is the ladder scene, and a part of that is the song.
Good scene. It's a good scene. It's a good song.
No, it's an iconic fan. I've seen HD remakes of that. Like, I'm in love with that scene, like, so much.
No,
It's a great game from the ladder sequence onward, but
Yeah.
before that, it's really not.
Very true. Very true.
No, I can't cap. Like, I was shitting on that game a bunch with you guys as well. But like, you put me in a room right now with Metal Gear Solid 3 and 4. I think I'm picking 3. Yeah,
I just can't. I can't.
Yeah,
No,
sure.
I can't.
Omar, I think like the time away from 3, I've definitely like become less harsh on it, I think. But you are right. Like, I think 4 muddles itself a lot, and 3 is just like straightforward in a lot of ways that I think is refreshing. I just don't know what I value more, but I think
Sure.
there could be a world where I would rank it the way you did, I think. But,
Cool. Well, that was the only point I had then. So I'll let the rankings commence. I think we're all good.
sure.
Uh,
So, first place, The King, Metal Gear Solid 2, Sons of Liberty. Number 2, Metal Gear Solid. Number 3, Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots. And in dead last, Metal Gear Solid 3, Snake Eater.
Where it will lie forever.
Yeah.
No, I actually don't know.
Damn
So,
it. Damn, it's 5
Maybe.
hours. Shit, guys.
yeah, we got a couple games left. We got Peace Walker.
There you go, Jack.
We got Ground
there you go,
Zeroes
Jack.
and
There you
5, which I don't know
Check
if
it
we're
out.
going to be ranking together. And then we got Revengeance. So,
True.
I brought my
I
PSP
feel-
here. Look at this. It's Metal Gear Solid. It's Peace Walker.
You have a
Is that a
PSP
PSP
Go? I
I
fucking
do.
love the PSP Go.
Isn't it
Fuck
awesome?
yeah.
I really wanted to show it off.
that's awesome.
Do you have one too, Kevin?
No, I mean I used to
Vita.
as a kid, but I don't have it anymore. I wish I had a PSP Go so bad. I got my
It's
Vita.
so
though.
cute. Look at it. That's
I
cool
fucking
too.
love the PSP
Is
Go.
that a
yeah.
PlayStation Vita?
It's a PlayStation Vita, y'all. It's a PlayStation Vita. It goes.
I
It goes
really
Vita, PSP Go, then PSP. I'm saying it right now. PSP Go is better than PSP.
Not bad.
I'm really excited for our discussions about Peace Walker and Ground Zeroes in particular.
Yeah, me too.
because I'm very unfamiliar with Peace Walker, more so than any Metal Gear Solid game. And Ground Zeroes is like a prelude, so that'll be interesting how we rank that. Yeah, I'm just very excited.
Yeah. So,
I guess I was under the impression we'd probably rank Ground Zeroes with 5 like as
everything is
one
fine.
unit.
That's
But-
probably fair.
Yeah.
That's probably fair.
Yeah, we could separate it though. But yeah, if you, we'll have to talk about it later. I guess.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So as it stands, by the time you're listening to this episode, that will be. Hold on, let me pull up a calendar. Monday, May 17th. We will be back for Peace Walker, a full-blown discussion on Peace Walker for Monday, May 31st is when you will hear that episode. So there will be no Longplay Club the week after this episode posts. The following week will be our discussion and ranking of Peace Walker. Because we've decided since Peace Walker is like much more mission-based and like it's the story's doled out in a different way, we're either going to be, playing it in full over those 2 weeks or watching the cutscenes of that game, because it is a PSP game that was ported up to PS3. So it's a PSP game. The way you would handle story and content through a PSP game, that's what that game is. So we felt it better that way. So
Gameplay spoiler question.
Mhm.
Is there crouch walking in this game? I would sure
Yeah.
hope so. Okay.
Yeah, I'm curious how this game controls because like PSP games really don't control that well. You know what I'm saying?
You
they really
honestly, I know we just pulled out a PSP and a Vita,
don't. Yes.
but if you want
I
to play
saw
that
it.
game with good controls, you should probably play it on the PlayStation 3. Or
because I do have access to it on PS now, but I
Yeah.
figured like I'd
The-
want to.
the camera controls on the PSP, you have the left analog
off.
knob. Yeah. And then you control the camera with the face buttons. With the
He's
triangle.
god awful. Yeah, it's god
Yeah,
awful.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, should
Well,
I
on the
just do it on
PS3, you can isn't PS now on the Vita? You could kind of have that experience.
It's not.
It's not.
You're gonna ask yourself why, and I
Why?
have the same question. I
Okay.
have the same question. I just why would you not have it on the Vita? It used to be.
Could you remote play to the PS5 and then run it through there?
That's a good question. I
Okay.
bet I could. I bet I could.
All
I bet I
right.
could. I bet I could.
I think
So-
there are some people at Sony who are unaware of both of those items' existence, so that's probably why.
There's an app. It's just not. It's not available.
we will. I will try at some point if anybody's around. We can try doing a multiplayer mission for Peace Walker. I'll be playing on the PS3, so we can have that as well.
Is 2 players or 4 players?
I think
Is there
four,
crossplay?
Right?
Probably not.
Is there? There's no crossplay.
There's no crossplay, but there's cross save.
Yeah, oh, that's cool.
It's transferring.
Transferring.
Yes. So that is the next.
We should
time.
watch that video.
We should. That is the next time you will see us working together for Metal Gear Solid. But until then, we'll do what we normally do. I guess final words on 4. I know Kevin wants to give a thought on 5, so we can do predictions and things about Peace Walker. And Kevin, you can also talk about your 5 thing when we get to you if you'd like. So I know I just threw a lot, but plugging, final words, Peace Walker stuff. So as always, Jack, let's hear it.
Sure. As we were talking about that, I'm really impressed with myself that I have not spoiled Peace Walker or Ground Zeroes or Metal Gear Solid 5 for Kevin, because I'm baffled that I haven't given any details, because I thought I did, but I guess not. So that's good. I'll just stop talking about that right now. But for, like I said earlier, I was nervous going into Metal Gear Solid 4 in the same way that I think Omar was nervous going into Metal Gear Solid 2. Because I just held it in such high regard. And now after playing it, it's really upsetting because I love the gameplay of this game. Like I said, I feel like it has some really great structural bones in terms of its gameplay and all the new systems that it has. And going forward for the series, like this is sort of like the groundwork of where we'll find ourselves in 5, at least for gameplay. But the story is just told in such a baffling way. They shoehorn a lot of stuff in from Metal Gear Solid 3 that I think is completely unnecessary, and it just sort of made me want a game in between the events of 2 and 4 where we get all the characters we had in this, but we get that sort of bridge arc that is usually told in trilogies, and this sort of was supposed to be a trilogy, but a lot of characters only get their second appearance in this game, and it just feels rushed at the end of it, which is really sad because I think there are moments of this game that had the potential to feel earned and feel completely satisfying, and they don't, which is really unfortunate. But I still love this game. I think it's great. But yeah, I'm excited to get into Peace Walker. I have only watched that game, so I've never played it. So happy to report back on that in a couple weeks. But until then, you can find me on social media at Fascinated Jack. Christian and I have a Marvel's Avengers podcast called Excelsior. You can find that on this YouTube channel, JoyClicks, or on podcast services of your choice.
Very nice. Omar, let's hear it.
Yeah, it's a bit sad ending Metal Gear Solid 4, I guess, because I feel like this is ending an era of this podcast and this series that I'm looking forward to seeing where we go from here. This podcast was a little tough for me because I never want to be the guy shitting on people who are having fun. I hope it never came across like that.
No, never.
Okay.
Never.
Cool.
Never. Ever.
We gotta have different opinions.
Yeah, I think so.
You back up all your points very, very well.
Very true.
Absolutely.
Wow, thank you. Well, cool. Yeah, I'm excited to try out Peace Walker, I guess. It's been a while since I played that. Last time was on the PSP. And I have the collector's edition here somewhere that maybe I can show off, but it's pretty cool. Do I need to talk about where I'm plugging stuff? Is this a plug as well, Christian? I can't remember.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I'm trailing off again. I forget. Metal Gear Solid 4 was cool, though. Let's go. I have a Twitch channel. Ohm's the chef. By the time you hear this, I should probably be playing a game almost as dumb as this one, Kingdom Hearts. So feel free to tune in if you'd like.
Oh, man.
Are you excited for that, Christian?
Oh, I'll be there for sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Kingdom Hearts 1. Great
Hell
game.
Cool.
Hell yeah.
It's no Kingdom Hearts 2, though.
True.
It's just like Metal Gear. Yeah, wow. I'm seeing so many comparisons, actually, now that I just said that. Wow, okay. To the entire series.
The next Longplay series.
I'm not opposed.
Oh,
I've never played it. I'll do it.
You will?
How many games?
Oh my God.
No, listen.
I don't know.
Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Christian got way too excited.
I don't know.
Listen.
Something happening?
There's Kingdom Hearts. There's Chain of Memories. Both of them you can do in under 15 hours.
Sure.
There's a movie. There's Kingdom Hearts 2.
Okay.
There's another movie.
Mm-hmm.
Dream Drop Distance. Another
Stupid
movie.
name. Okay.
A Ground Zero's equivalent to 3, and then 3.
Excellent.
Most of them you can do in under 20 hours.
But what about this 2.5 remix and that bullshit?
Those are just the HD
Is that just-
collections. Those are just the HD
All right.
collections.
we can ignore. Okay. All right. That sounds fine.
And you know, there's some great stuff in there. Anyway, Metal Gear Solid 4. I compare it to the Rise of Skywalker. I think in context of their series, I really don't like the Rise of Skywalker. So I don't mean that as big of an insult as it is. But yes,
Birth by Sleep. Sorry, another Vita classic for you, Kevin.
Yes. Oh, I did forget Birth by
Wait,
Sleep.
was it? I didn't.
It's a PSP game, Birth by Sleep. It plays well on Vita too.
I did
Kingdom
forget
Hearts.
Birth by Sleep, so there's one more game. But again,
Okay.
they're not that long.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off, Christian.
No, that I would have felt horrible if I forgot Birth by Sleep. That's the third best Kingdom Hearts game. Yeah, it's Rise of Skywalker, but it's still fun to play. In terms of Peace Walker is interesting. I've never played it. Like Omar or like Jack said, I've only watched it before 5 came out. I will be playing it on the PS3, but just thinking of playing that game on the PSP makes me want to have a PSP. And I always regret not buying the green PSP package. It was like a nice aqua forest green PSP 3000 that came with Peace Walker, and I had it in my hands, and I put it down, and I always regret that day. Because that probably would have been my second Metal Gear, maybe, after 1. But, yeah, you can find me here on youtube.com/joyclicks with this show. Like Jack said, Excelsior, Gamescast with Kevin, Jedi Knights with Mike, Connors. Or you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, @ChunTD2, doing some stuff. That's, if you like this, you'll probably like that, I hope. But, yeah. Kevin.
Yes, sir.
Your laundry list of things to go over right now. Let's go.
Metal Gear Solid 4. Overall, like it. Obviously, it's my favorite Metal Gear as of according to my ranking, right? And is a big avalanche. It's a big avalanche, but you know, it's there's. I think that there's enough beforehand that I really enjoyed. I really liked, you know what I'm saying, in spite of like reasons why it could be really stupid, but I don't know. Like overall, like I just think I'm really happy that we got to see more Solid Snake, right? Like coming off of MGS3, that was a really sour taste in my mouth. I just did not enjoy that game that much, you know what I'm saying? So Metal Gear Solid 4 was like I said early on, like, and I also say like everything I wish a Metal Gear Solid 3 was, you know. But now upon reflection, upon beating this game, it's like maybe there could have been a Metal Gear Solid 3, and this could have still been Metal Gear Solid 4, just a different Metal Gear Solid 3, right? One that followed these characters a little bit more. It could have made Metal Gear Solid 4 better. But yeah, no, I liked it. I enjoyed it. Peace Walker, I literally have no context. I have the game downloaded on my Vita. There's like some peace signs and all that, so definitely some different iconography than I'm seeing with traditionally with Metal Gear. So very interesting. Like I wonder if there's like cool stuff about like, you know, this play between peace and war, right? That sounds interesting. You know what I'm saying? I wonder about that. And peace, I think of a particular era, right? So I think you lend that. I think maybe we're gonna be probably playing as Big Boss, right? That's maybe what we're doing, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Metal Gear Solid 5, right? I think it was Liquid that was saying like, hey, you know, yeah, you're taking on the system, but you're gonna see that war is still gonna persist essentially, and like the world's gonna be in chaos and all that, right? So I wonder if we have this weird scenario where MGS5. Wait, no. No, that can't happen. I was gonna say you're playing as Big Boss, but Big Boss definitely died. Right?
We already played as an old man, though.
There's no way. How you gonna get microwaved and still like Damn. Okay, so you know what? The whole thing's in the window. I don't know. The whole thing's out the window. I'm so incredibly excited for Metal Gear Solid 5. Like, I just really want to get to that game. Like, for real. I'm just very excited for that. So we'll get there when we get there. But of course, you can watch my journey as I move on towards MGS 5 on YouTube the Comments PlayStation Source. We won't be streaming Peace Walker, but probably going to stream some Resident Evil Village next week. You know, could do that. Maybe we can fit in Resistance 2. You know what I'm saying? So definitely doing that. Of course, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, as of this recording, did go gold. Plenty of really cool stuff we were talking about there on Road to Rift Apart. I don't think I said it here on this show yet, but David K is still coming on, but he will be coming on the launch day for Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. So pretty cool day to have him on instead, you know. Sony wanted to align all the marketing or something like that. You know, maybe Sony hates me. I don't know. But it's all good. It's all good. Sony, I forgive you. Did you say I'm sorry to me? No, but I forgive you preemptively. Yeah, Saves Our Podcast, talking about PS5, all the good stuff, you know what I'm saying? Videos galore, you know what I'm saying? I got some lots of stuff I want to put out. Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, I want to put out all that great stuff. And Twitter at PS Source Vids. So that's about all she wrote. That's about
Very
it.
nice. This is the end of Guns of the Patriots, so that playlist is complete. If you want the video version of this, you can check it out on youtube.com/joyclicks under the Longplay Club tab. There's a tab with all the different playlists, so you can find the playlist for 1, 2, 3, and now 4 completed underneath there. If you want the audio version, you can check it out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, your service of choice. Every future Longplay Club, be it Metal Gear Solid 5, Kingdom Hearts, you can find that under the same playlist, so look forward to those there. If you want to support the shows even further, you can go to patreon.com/joyclicks. The $1 and $5 tier, $5 tier gets you producer credit on this show and every show, like Chris Sackus and Aaron Easton. So thank you very much. And that's it for MGS4.
I can end this podcast if you want.
Please do, Omar.
Do it.
All right. You guys ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Snake had a hard life.